E&E, with your boy shit. Glitch, nigga. Shit, I'm about to flood the streets like when the levees break. Criminal minds, my Garcia can navigate. Flowing while I'm blowing this gas. Nigga, no brakes. Niggas not seeing me ever. I mean, no dates. Fuck around and end up going. You getting misplaced. E&E, the shit that I claim. You dealing with grace. Took over the game by storm like Rain's mixtape. Thankfully, I've been up in smoke like my mixtape. Counting cheddar shit, I'm about to make a grilled cheese. Niggas be faker than bad bitches with good weeds. On my John Wick shit like Keanu Reeves. Replacements won't be enough, you need the whole team. I've been a G since I could finish my ABCs. Kept it a buck so real niggas look up to me. This butcher boy shit get crazy when it's sick of me. I'm coughing out these dope bars till they sick of me.
Can't get rid of me, still can't find a remedy, but still blowing palmers if it comes to NC. E&E, we own our shit independently. When I go out on the limb, I take extremities. I can see right through transparency. Hurt their self-esteem low, insecurities. Now or never, like push the guarantee. What's the recipe? King L's Reflection 3. All these chapters in my life, you can turn a page. Books can't tell you my story, gotta live and dance. Glitch got my back, yeah, you can copy that. Man, we control the seat, you can copy that. Leave your whole state red like Republicans. Put fire on the track, now it's bubbling. Put your boys E&E, you in trouble, kid. At first 100 mil, you can double.
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. Automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. With your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. With your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Blow sick around the jealous in the motherfucker. Can't even take a step, that's how far I trust you. This black boy turned to shining king under pressure. West side fat jacks, I took more to measure. Shave the extras, that's business starter feed. Street blues, what I talk, royal blood flowing free. Power on my mind, knows the gang is kind. Read between the lines, it was in my eye. If they ain't got real lines, it ain't hard to spot a counterfeit. Undefeated, ultra real, Fern Gully Mountain shit. Couple hot shots, turn on the frozen margaritas. Even better when it's served with some flawless features. Next year they gotta pay for these flawless features. Flawless victories from the flaws that they teach us. Now my flow imitate how I board the plane non-stop. The little J gon' take over when my time stops.
Yeah, I get right to it. My nigga, we begging pardon. We putting niggas back in boxes. Yeah, they need pardon. My flow be retarded. Sick, I need hella help. My groove came back. This must be how Stella felt. We just started kicking it like a yellow belt. We all made it to the pros. This is how LaMelo felt. You better yell out help. Here come the double team. You catch me in the spot, then you know that the boy is clean. The Louis V look mean with the magazine. So if you try it, you get shot. No vaccine. If you was asleep before I came, then I'm the caffeine. I pull the jokers out the deck. There ain't no laughing. In CEO fashion, we sticking to the business. Wouldn't even let a vegan knock me off my chicken. Something about the BBS when the sun is hitting. Should be flashing like the lights when you getting
Let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. With your boy shit, nigga, let's go. All the hustlers getting money, let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. With your boy shit, nigga,
let's go. Yeah. What up? It's the man about town, Virgil, aka Stacks with the Facts. And y'all already know we tuned in to Spiritual Roots Sundays. What's good with y'all? How y'all doing tonight? Vernon 85, what's good? Andrian in the building, what's good? Everybody out there in the clouds watching, what's good? Y'all already know what it is, man. We about to get to it, man. I see y'all all in the building tonight. So this is an interesting topic that we're going to get to. I just got off the phone with my pops. We're going to hit him back up here in about 15, 20 minutes. Y'all already know how we do it, man. What's good with everybody, man? How y'all doing today, man? Y'all heard what Vernon 85 said, man. Support the real, man. You know what I'm talking about? How y'all doing today, man? It's a beautiful Sunday evening, and we about to get into it. I already knew this was going to be a beautiful. My dad told me when we talked a couple of days ago, my pops was like, he said, yeah, it's going to be a powerful teaching tonight, man, or, a powerful teaching on Sunday concerning this issue and this topic and this subject. So y'all know we're going to get to it. Make sure y'all meet and greet each other as y'all come up in. What's good with y'all, man? How y'all doing today, man? What it do? What the business is? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man, we about to get straight into it. You already know, man. How y'all like last night's show, man? Shout out to my brother Q, man. Q Nemesis, Columbus, Ohio legend. You know what I'm saying? It was an honor and a privilege to have him on the show last night. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And we're going to have him back on in a couple weeks, man, to do a listening party for one of his albums he got, man. He told me I could pick which one I wanted to do. So we're going to get into it in the next couple Saturdays. But you know how we do it over here at A Real Talk Podcast, man. We shine a light on those who deserve it. You know what I'm saying? If you're interested in coming on the program, coming on the show, and you want to have a listening party for your music, you want to do a track-by-track breakdown and commentary, man, let us know the story behind each song and all of that. You know, you got a platform over here. Just hit me up on that email, man. It's in the description. Just hit me up on that email, artmediallc@yahoo.com. You know what I'm talking about? And we're going to get straight to it. You feel me? Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. How y'all doing this evening, man? What's good with everybody, man? What y'all got going on today? How was y'all Sunday today, man? Was it beautiful? Mine was very beautiful myself, if I do say so myself. Yeah, man, I see everybody tapping in for this one, man. This is a touchy subject, and I'm glad that everybody is interested because we got to get to it, man. You know, a lot of people be feeling some type of way when I speak on this issue. You know what I mean? When I speak about this issue. Now, let me just tell y'all this, man. I'm not no saint. I'm not proselytizing. I'm not moral finger wagging or nothing. We just pointing out what it is. Okay, then, Vernon 85, man. That's what it do, man. Fried steak and rice. That sound like a beautiful meal, man. You know what I'm talking about? A beautiful day, Andrea. You hear me? Truly beautiful, man. It was a nice weather today. It started off kind of chilly in the morning, but towards the afternoon, it warmed up, and you know what I'm saying? It's a truly beautiful day today. Truly beautiful. We got Uncle Diggity in the building. What's good with you, bro? So that seems like what everybody doing right now. Everybody relaxing right now. Got some food on the grill or got dinner done and tapping in. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's up, man. My man Vernon 85 say he eating steak and rice. And we got Uncle Diggity in the backyard with the bird on the grill, man, blowing on them Josephs, man, and while the food cooking on the grill. That's a beautiful thing, man. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing tonight, man? Meet and greet each other as y'all come in. Y'all know how we do it over here. We family over here. How y'all like last night's show? Yeah. You already know what it is, man. We getting into it tonight, man. Spiritual roots. Yeah, hey, listen here, y'all, man. I'm gonna count up for this. That was my brother. Hey, listen. Now we didn't get into this last night, but I can tell y'all right now. Q Nemesis is my nephew's older cousin. Right? Q is my nephew's mom's first cousin. My oldest nephews, Lil Keith and Wani, their mom and Q is first cousins. You hear me? So when I told y'all Q is family, I wasn't lying. That's my oldest nephew's first cousin. So you know what I'm talking about? It's a beautiful thing to have Q on the show last night. You know, Q got an extensive discography. You know what I'm saying? And he done performed all over the country. He done won some Ohio Hip Hop Awards. You know what I'm saying? And he's just a Columbus legend, man. He been doing this thing for the long time. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to give him his proper shine because he deserves it. You know what I mean? He deserved his proper shine because he put in the work. You know what I'm saying? My brother done had major opportunities where he could have signed deals and all of that stuff. But you know how the music industry is, man. And us real ones, man, we ain't going to go. You know what I'm talking about? So shout out to my brother Q Nemesis, man. Make sure y'all go to Spotify, Dat Piff, all streaming services. His music is all on all streaming services. So you know, everybody uses Spotify. So y'all go over there to Spotify and type in my brother Q Nimbus' name. His whole demo gonna pop up. He got like 12 albums on there, man. Work. Putting in that work. It's all good, Andrew. You can always go catch the replay. You can always go catch the replay, man. You know what I'm saying? But we here tonight, and I know y'all ready. I know y'all love want to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. Yeah, man. If y'all looked on the page, right? If y'all looked on my page, what y'all see is for Wednesday night. Now listen here. Last Wednesday, we was talking about what was we talking about last Wednesday? Hold on real quick. I'm about to go check for myself real quick. What we talking about last Wednesday? Let me go check for myself real quick, man. Because you know we gotta be writing exact over here with the info. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, last Wednesday we was talking about Jay-Z and Marina Abramovich. And it was a consensus in the audience that night to say, how about every Wednesday? Shout out to Uncle Diggity. Every Wednesday, right? We're gonna be getting into it, right? Breaking down the hold on, let me go get it for y'all real quick so we can just be writing exact. You know what I'm talking about? We want to make sure we're writing exact at all times, right? Hold on, we're gonna go right here and get to it. Smash that like button, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna get into it Wednesday. Exposing the demon time music industry, Hotel California. So that's what Wednesdays is going to be. Wednesdays from here on out is going to be dedicated to exposing the demon time music industry. All genres of music, not just hip hop and rap. We're going to do jazz. We're going to do rock, R&B, gospel, and all of that. We're going to break down how the music industry in all its genres is being used to promote the Luciferian satanic agenda. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, my bad, y'all. We're going to be exposing the demon time music industry. You hear me? You know what I'm talking about? And that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesday. All genres of music. And we're going to be breaking down how the Luciferian satanic agenda is being pushed through all genres of music. This Wednesday coming up, we're going to be discussing the Eagles and their hit song, Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. That's powerful right there. Y'all got to understand how powerful that statement is right there. You know what I'm talking about? How y'all doing today, man? What's going on with y'all, man? We got people up in the building for Spiritual Roots. I see y'all want to tap in because y'all know we about to get into it. I talked to my pops like 3 times a day. He's so excited about tonight. He got scriptures on scriptures on scriptures. So we're going to bust this thing down to the last compound. You know what I'm talking about? Like we breaking down a bale. You know what I'm talking about? Like we breaking down a brick. You understand what I'm talking about, man? Hit that like button, man. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the page and all of that. Click on the bell. Because we about to get into it. My phone's charging up. So we're going to have Pops call on the phone. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to be nice and charged up so we can go in. Don't be surprised if tonight we go a little bit past the 2-hour mark because this is a serious situation and we got to break it down. Oh, yeah? Virgil 85 said they be putting hip-hop instrumentals on gospel songs on a gospel radio station. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's what they do. You know what I'm talking about? That's exactly what they do. See, when you make a so-called gospel music, or let's just say music for the Most High, you hear me? It's not supposed to be worldly. When you listen to music that's singing praises to God, man, that music ain't supposed to make you want to go to the club and dance. That music ain't supposed to make you want to, you know what I'm saying, have sex with a woman or sex with a man. That's not what that music is supposed to be doing. That music is only supposed to be uplifting and glorifying the name of God, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's it. That's all. Can't stop, won't stop. You talking about you talking about by Puff? You talking about by Puff Daddy? Lance Parker in the building. What's good, bro? My man Lance Parker always coming through with the love and the respect. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the page, man. Click on that bell, share on your social engineer. Hit that like button, man. Tell everybody to come tap in and walk with us. We going in, man. This Wednesday is the second episode, or actually the first episode. You hear me? This Wednesday is going to be the you know what I'm saying? This Wednesday is going to be the pilot episode of you know what I'm saying, exposing the Demon Time music industry Wednesdays. That's what Wednesdays is all about over here at Real Talk Podcast. We're exposing the Demon Time music industry in all genres of music. And we're starting with the Eagles, which is the rock group from the 70s, and their Demon Time anthem, Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. You hear me? We're going to break that damn thing down. You understand me? You know what I'm talking about? Salute to my brother Lance Parker. Salute to Uncle Diggity. Salute to Vernon 85. Salute to Andrea. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody in the building. Everybody in the clouds watching. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, about the young guns. You talking about the can't stop, won't stop, Rockefeller, record tipping. We get down, baby. We get down. Oh, man, not they playing that on the so-called Christian nation, man. Told y'all, man, it's being corrupt, man. It's being corrupt, man. Good, bro. Can't stop, won't stop, Rockefeller, record city. We get down, baby. We get down. You know what I'm talking about? That's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? I seen a new song by Kirk Franklin, man. Now hold on, I'm about to find this for y'all, man. Oh man, I heard some stuff by Kirk Franklin, man. Kirk Franklin is terrible, man. You hear me? He's terrible, man. I remember I seen Kirk Franklin with a t-shirt on that said Jesus Freak. Uh-oh.
Give me 16.
This is what I saw. We about to watch this, y'all. Fair use, fair use. If anybody was ever mistaken about Kirk Franklin, he is the representative or a representative of the synagogue of Satan. Right? Y'all remember when Kirk Franklin had that picture where he wrote that t-shirt called Jesus Freak? Number one fly God, what's good with you, bro? Colada, what's good with you? We got Colada in the building. I don't know if that's a troll or a bot or whoever that is, but what's good with you? We got my brother, number one fly God in the building, representing the turf. 614 representing. What it do, man? You already know, man. Number one fly God, man. Nah, we ain't worried about the end of the world over here, Colada, man. You know what I'm saying? The end of the world is inevitable. We actually are welcoming and ushering in the end of the world, right? Because the world is the fallen state of the earth. You hear me? The world is an illusion. It's not real. You did. My man, number one fly God in the building, representing that 614. What's good with you, bro? You hear me, Andrea? We ain't worried about the world. We already know the world got to go. It has to go. We can't wait for it to go. You did talk to him, Andrea. Where Cupcake at? You hear me? Colada said the new world isn't a hustle, no more hustle. Yeah, the new world order is actually a hustle. It's just all about if you willing to have a how could I say it? I don't want to say balls because it don't take balls. If you got the temerity, or I ain't gonna say the temerity, you can definitely capitalize off of the new world order hustle. It's a lot of dudes out here capping off the new world order hustle, man. You know what I'm saying? If I had no integrity, I would be capping off of the new world hustle. But I actually have integrity, so I'm not a fear monger. I don't do fear porn. Let me come up for this too. Just to let y'all know how serious this shit is. We don't do fear porn over here at A Real Talk Podcast, man. We're not in the business of making people panic or causing panic or putting people in a manic state. We're not in the fear porn or fear mongering. We're not trying to scare nobody. We ain't on no doomsday prophecy bullshit over here. We just keeping it real and real what it is. You hear me? The truth, raw and uncut, like dope from out of Bolivia. You hear me? And we don't do fear over here. You understand me? Look at my eyes, man. I said we don't do fear over here. Right? See, y'all out there, let me say this real quick. Talk to him real quick, Andrea, man. Uncle Diggity, man. I'm going to talk to him real quick, Andrea, Uncle Diggity, Lance Parker. Let me talk to the people who might be new to the demonstration. Or my fault. Let me take that back. The situation, right? See, and this is not me, like, it's just me stating the facts. You feel me? Take it however you want to take it. You feel me? See, y'all out there, majority of y'all out there, y'all have domesticated y'all's demons. Shout out to Larry Gators. Y'all have made friends with y'all's demons. Y'all have befriended the demons. So much so that y'all say y'all on Demon Time, hence exposing the Demon Time music industry Wednesdays right here at A Real Talk Podcast. But also in y'all's nomenclature. I hear this being done so rampantly and so you know what I'm saying, so heavily that it's being made normal, right? And one thing we ain't gonna ever do over here at A Real Talk Podcast is make the abnormal normal. Is that my man Deformed Pretty Boy in the building? What's good? You already know, Andrea, talk to him. My man Deformed Pretty Boy in the building. What's good? You already know, DPB, man. We in the building. Listen here. Y'all have domesticated y'all's demons. We don't do that over here at A Real Talk. We expose them, right? We decapitate them. I mean, literally cut their heads off, right? Then we cast them out and cast them back down to the pit from which they came. Yiddy! Everybody hit that like button, man. Smash that like button. Click on the bell and subscribe to the page because y'all know we about to get into it tonight. Don't be surprised if we go over the 2-hour mark. Right? Because we about to get into it. I'm about to call Pops up on the phone here in a second. You already know, man. Talk to him, man, Andrea, man. We ain't playing no games over here, man. You hear me? We ain't playing no games over here, Mike. Hold on real quick. Let me go get some drink real quick. Yeah, man, we ain't playing no games over here, man. You hear me? 0 games, man. Zero games, y'all. Absolutely no games whatsoever. We don't befriend demons over here, man. We're not domesticating demons over here, man. We decapitating demons over here. You hear me? So y'all hit that like button, man. Smash it, man. Everybody watching in the clouds, tap in. You feel me? That's what's up. Yeah, we going in, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to call Pops up on the phone in like 4 minutes. And you already know we about to straight cook. You hear me? Y'all already know, man. Y'all know, man, me and Pops about to go in on this one. You hear me? Let me just say this before we really get into it, and I'll call Pops on the phone, man. This is not a show that is setting up. This Pops calling me right here. Hello? Yeah, I was just about to call you, man. You might as well just stay on the phone. All right. I'm about to finish my little monologue up, and we about to get straight to it. You feel me? I just want to say this. This ain't even a disclaimer. This is just, setting the tone. You hear me, for the night. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? This is not out to bash anybody, to moral finger wag anybody, as if we're better than somebody, because we ain't. Me and my Pops, we are goddammit fools. You hear me? I'm going to say that we are goddammit fools, man. You hear me? So don't get it twisted or messed up, right? But we have to call those things out as if they weren't, as those that be not as if they were. Did I say that right, Pops?
Yes, you did.
Yes. We calling those things that be not as if they were, and they are. We have to look this in the face. And if you are a member or you identify with the LGBTQ LMNOP barbecue committee agenda, that's your choice to do. I'm not trying to convert you or, make you change up or anything like that. I'm really just calling out the behavior, the psyche, and exposing and breaking it down, much like you could do to me if you have the ability to do what you do, right? We're not beyond scrutiny over here. You hear me? So don't ever get it twisted. So I just wanted to say that, though, man. We're going to get into it, though. And like I said, this ain't me saying this. This ain't my Pops saying this. This ain't none of my brethren and sisters in the comments telling you this. This is the word of God himself. And if you don't believe in it, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. Flat out. No disrespect. Love you. This ain't for you. This type of teaching, this level of teaching, it just ain't for you. And that's okay. Right? So you can sit and watch in the clouds. You can come in the comment section, tap in if you want, as long as you don't be disrespectful, because like I said, we cut heads off over here. Decapitation. So, I got straight snipers in the as moderators in the comment section. So as soon as you say anything contrary, disrespectful, like I said, we don't domesticate them over here. We decapitate them. And I mean that in the not literal sense. I mean that in the spiritual sense. I mean that in the well, I ain't gotta say nothing else. That's the most highest sense it could be in, is the spiritual sense. That's what I mean. We are spiritually decapitating over here. Am I right, Pops?
That's right.
You know what I'm talking about? So, I ain't gonna play no more games. We're gonna bring Pops in right now, man.
Hello, out there in YouTube land, once again, another Sunday podcast. Just kind of picking back up a little bit from where my son had it last week. About homosexuality and getting to the roots of it.
Mm-hmm.
That the truth will set you free. It's always good to know the truth. There's a lot of people out there, that's looking for the truth, and they can't recognize it when they hear it.
Right.
Because it'd be so covered up and cloaked with lies that they don't see it.
Right.
So only those who have the truth can reveal and share and tell the truth. A liar can't tell the truth. So it takes one that knows truth and is truthful to reveal the things that are hidden, you know, that what sets people free. So we're going to jump right into it. Like I said, we always start from our basis and from our foundation, which is the Garden of Eden.
Right.
Because that's where it all started. That's where it all happened. With Adam and Eve. My topic tonight is the spiritual roots of homosexuality. Okay. My subject is immorality and unnatural acts and works of man and the lust of his flesh. My message is going to be the fruits and its results from the seed of the knowledge of having and knowing evil. Okay, when Adam and Eve fell from the garden, it awakened their physical senses and their natural senses, their physical eyes and their flesh and the pride of life, which is vanity. But vanity is nothing but one stuck on himself. Okay? When you get the big head about you, you know, when you think you all that in a bag of chips. Let's put it that way.
All that in a bag of Grippos, man, with the one of them bags with the heavy seasoning on them. You know what I'm talking about, Pops, man?
Yeah, with the extra seasoning on it. Yeah, that's right. So I'm once again glad to be with my family. My YouTube family, always got good stuff. This is really good this week. Of course, it's always good, but it just gets better. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to him.
You know, and we're going to start off, you know, I'm going to take you first of all where it first all began of homosexuality. I'm going to bring Noah into the picture. We always go stay in the Old Testament, and I take you right to the New Testament. So to show you that this is a consistency.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying and what my son be sharing with us, it ain't nothing that we just pick up on, you know, and try to add stuff onto it. You know, it's a consistency to it.
Right.
You know? And we always start with the garden because that's where everything originated from and started from. Okay. Now, after the flood, God chose Noah. I think we hit on that in one of my earlier podcasts.
Yeah.
Me and my, you know, we spoke about Noah.
Briefly.
You know, and when God just wiped out mankind, he said he was going to start all over again. And that's what he did. But in my studying, I really truly believe that this is the first recorded act of homosexuality. Was when Noah's son, Ham, saw his nakedness. Now, there's been controversy about what really happened when Ham saw his father naked, you know. Now, I don't think his dad was that upset with him just because if he saw him naked, you know. Had to be a lot much more than that to that.
Right.
Footnote. Noah, after the flood and when the water succeeded and they got on land again, he became a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. First thing he planted was grapes. That's where the wine come from, okay? That was the first intoxication. Noah was the first drunk. Hey,
Hold on. Let me stop you, Pops. Pops, let me stop you real quick. Pops. Hold on, let me cam up for this, man. This is why I say, man, nobody that I know personally on planet Earth, you know what I'm saying, knows this scriptures like my pops, man. And every time we'll be talking, have discussions, man, I always get revelation, and I never, ever even knew that right there. So my mind is like this right now. Go ahead, Pops.
Oh, yeah. Now that you brought that up, it's going to be a revelation for all the viewers and all the ears that hear me tonight. Everything what I'm getting ready to share with them is going to be revelation from.
Right. And
they can go through the Word of God and read it for themselves, but this will be the first time that I'm going to put some enlightenment on it. Because I do my homework. 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman be not ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Hold on. I'll say that scripture again. Say the scripture again.
It's 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God. And study. In other words, study his word to show yourself that you are approval unto him. a workman need not to be ashamed of being able to rightly divide the word of truth. So that is saying basically, people, that when you study the word of God and when you get his approval that you know his word because you read it and you studied it from yourself, then he approves it. And you don't never ever have to be ashamed or try to give an excuse to explain God's word to anybody. You don't never have to defend his word. That's what that scripture means. That's what it stands for. I did that many, many years ago in my young days when I first got saved. Okay, that's what I did. I stayed in the Word of God. I had everything that I need to work with, all my tools and everything. Concordance, dictionaries. I had 2 or 3 different Bibles. I mean, I had a stack of paper to write on, and that's what I did. So I'm never ashamed of when I come to you with the Word of God, believe me, it's the Word of God. I'm not going to never ever tell you anything about what's in the Word of God if I can't go in that book and show you for yourself, because I'm held accountable for it if I do. But moving right along, so Noah, he was the first farmer. He was the first alcoholic. He was the first person that made wine. He was the first person that got drunk. Now, this was led up to, I think, for the door of homosexuality to even enter in, because he had his guard down, okay? Remember, he still had the seed of the knowledge of knowing good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That never went away after God wiped out everybody else on earth. Still, man was man, okay? That was in him. It's in us today, so there's nothing changed in that aspect.
Right.
But it shows that his son Ham saw his nakedness. And I began to study this, and I'm saying, Lord, now wait a minute. I know he didn't get all upset with his son because he saw his nakedness, because it says that when Noah came to, that he said he realized what his son had done to him. Okay? So something physically had to happen and transpire for him to even say that. And not only on that, but he cursed him.
Right.
He cursed his son Ham. Okay. That's something to think about.
That's definitely something to think about.
Huh?
That's definitely something to think about. Got my mind thinking for sure.
Yeah, it had me thinking about it as I got into it, you know. That's why I'm so happy to get for this day to come. So then when you look at, and then let me give you some footnotes. God gave the same power and authority and dominion over all of the creation and the earth over to Noah, just like he did Adam in the garden. He gave him dominion over everything, all the animals that came out of the ark. God gave him dominion and power and authority over all them, birds in the air, animals on the land, animals and creatures in the water. So he restored back that power and authority and dominion to Noah like he did with Adam. So God was putting him back in his proper place where he was before the fall. So that's what happened. Now, my subject is the immorality and the unnatural acts and the works of man and the lust of his flesh. Okay.
What's up, Juju, baby? How you doing, girl?
Now, all this stems from the garden where the seed, okay?
Talk to him.
This is another major part of my message, is that it's the seed. All this comes from the seed. And their eyes was open. So now things are going on in the earth. After Noah cursed Ham, they got married. They all went their separate ways. And the earth began to be fulfilled and filled again, multiplying in the earth. Now, I'm going to give you some footnotes. Now we get to where Abraham comes into this now.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to give you a double dose of some revelation of two different things that was going on at the same time with God and his plan, with his creation, and with man in the earth.
Right.
You know, that he was dealing with Abraham about making him becoming the father of many nations.
Right.
But at the same time, he's dealing with the sinful acts and the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah. He had two things on his agenda. People listen to this.
Talk to him.
This is how deep God is. This is how beautiful God is. He's dealing with two different things that have to do with man. Okay? He's dealing with Abraham to make him father of many nations. That's to usher in the whole totality of mankind. Okay? Because God said that he so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? Whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And God said, you hear me, son?
Go ahead.
Okay. And God said he wouldn't lose anything. All right. So this is another part of his plan to redeem man back to himself, to get his spirit back to himself. Okay.
Right.
That's the most important thing to God, is his spirit that he put in man when he created Adam and made him from the dust of the earth. And he said, and he breathed into himself, and man became a living soul. That's what God is after, his spirit, a part of his spirit. Okay? God don't give one hoot about the flesh.
None.
None at all. Okay? So this is what he's doing. He's doing two things at one time. Tell me God can't chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. He's dealing with bringing man back to the proper place that he was in before he fell, and to redeem his soul, and to relit his spiritual light in him, and also to bring man back to fellowship with God like Adam was in the garden. So he's doing a whole lot right now.
Right.
Okay. Now, Abraham didn't know that God came down to deal with Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
Okay. In fact, he was surprised when he even saw him. Now, another footnote. God always came. You know how many times God visited this earth in the flesh of man?
Talk to him.
Huh?
Talk to him.
A lot of things themselves unite YouTube family. It's the first time you have heard it. And I pray that God gives you the spiritual revelation to receive it and see it in the manner that I'm giving it to you. And it will be, because a whole lot of you will see a lot of revelation tonight. I say this, I speak it by faith. But Abraham didn't know what God was up to. He came down here to see him about making him the father of many nations, because he was well old in age, him and Sarah. And they couldn't bear children. See, he did all this even before he came down here, what he was going to do. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to see Abraham. And I'm going to let him know what I'm about ready to do to make him father of many nations. And in order to do that, see, I have to have a son that is from him to carry on my lineage.
Right.
Are people, y'all follow me?
Talk to him.
Become a father of many nations, because God knew up the road that all of mankind will be saved. Okay? But it would all come from Abraham.
Right.
That's why I said he's the father of many nations.
Right.
Okay? Which the different nationalities and races of people that we have today in the earth. He's the father of all of them. Of all of us. Think about that. So he said, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to let Abraham know that what I'm getting ready to do, because they laughed at him, what Sarah did, when God came down there and said, Abraham, what are you going to do? I'm going to make you father of many nations. You're going to have a son. His name is going to be called Isaac. Abraham said, how can I do that and I'm well up in age? He was like almost in his 90s, almost in his 100s then. Sarah was in her 90s. She even laughed and said that, how? Am I old enough to where that I can still receive pleasure? people, you hear me what I'm saying?
Talk to him, man. We laying foundation right now. We laying foundation for the revelation. Come on, let's talk to him, Pops.
Now, another footnote that I wanted to share with you, that it was strong and loud, the wickedness and the smell of sin and immorality. It was so strong in the nostrils of God that it came up from the earth and reached clear up into the spirit realm where he was at. That's how powerful and strong and wicked that it was. All he caught was the fit of it. People, listen to me what I'm saying. This is scripture. He said he had to go down near himself and see. Now, when I said, Lord, now wait a minute. You sit high and you watch low. So why you couldn't see that from where you was at? The Holy Spirit told me that's because that where God is at is nothing but holiness and pureness. Okay? He's a holy God. He's a pure God. That kind of stuff don't even get up there to where he can see it because that's not his sight. You understand what I'm saying?
Talk to him.
God is a God of good. God don't see evil. He know evil, but he don't see evil like we see evil.
Big difference.
So he caught the scent, the stench of it, smell of it. And if you know that today, when you do stuff like that, I'm not trying to get too explicit, but it does have an odor. Immorality of sexual acts does have an odor. That's what went up into his nose up in heaven. He just got a smell of it, a whiff of it. He didn't see it. So he said, now before I judge, and I don't know, and that's something for God not to know. But he said, but before I judge, and whatever I think that it might be, I got to go down here myself and see for myself.
Powerful.
He had to see for himself. So he came down here. Now he came down here as an angel, but in the form of a man. Footnote, every time that every angel ever stepped foot on this planet, they were always a man, never a woman.
Man, talk to him, Pops. Man.
Always men. And they have to always have wings because God came with two angels. And when Abraham saw them from afar, he knew who they were. He knew they were regular men, but he recognized them as being men. He couldn't recognize them as being an angel because they didn't have wings. Apparently, if they had wings, he wouldn't know they were angels, but he didn't. He just thought they were just three men. But he knew they were from the spirit realm. And he knew that God came to visit him. Abraham bows down to him, bows down to the angels. The angels tell him, don't bow down to us, you know. But he gave his homage to God. Now, while the angels is off sitting to the side, God is having this conversation with Abraham. Told him what he was going to do that has to do with him. I'm going to make you father of many nations. He said, I'm going to bless you with the son. And Abraham said, well, Lord, old as I am, my body can't produce children no more like it could. But that was Abraham's first son too now. He never, out of all the years Abraham was in the earth, he never had any children, him or Sarah. But when God had planned on making him a father of many nations, then that's when he told him. That was the main reason why he came down there anyway, to talk to Abraham about this. Ain't that something when God can come down there and talk to you one-on-one? Have God ever came down and talked to you? Like that sound? And not only that, but Abraham, he killed the fatted calf. And they sit down and they had brunch. God can eat food. Said he fixed the food and they ate and they fellowship. And God told him what he was going to do with Abraham. He said, I'm going to bless you, father of many nations, Then Sarah, she's in the background because see, back there in those days, the women, they gave their props to the men. You know what I'm saying? The women wasn't all up under men and around them when men got together like that. They be all somewhere doing what they supposed to be doing. That show you how far out of proportion that we have came. How far, not bashing women, but where each one of us have done totally stepped out of our roles as who we are, you know, as being a man and being a woman, you know, not being where we should be, the way that we supposed to be. But back then, that's the way it was. So she's in the background and she's listening to the conversation between God and Abraham. And she hears God tell Abraham that I'm getting ready to bless y'all with the son. Abraham told him, not that he doubted him, but still he wondered, how can this be? And I know the condition and the shape of my body. Sarah, she's back there in the backdrop thinking the same thing. So God said, well, don't worry about it. It's going to happen. You just believe what I'm telling you, and it will come to pass. So after he started wrapping up this conversation with Abraham about getting ready to make him father of many nations, Sarah, she happens to laugh and saying, you know, how can this be? Here I am, I'm real stricken in age. In other words, my body or my womb done shut down. You know, I can't have no kids, haven't had none yet so far. So how now I'm gonna have a child? And I'm well in my 90s.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like laughing, you know, like smirking, you know. And Abraham happened to hear her laugh. So when God get ready to do the second part of his plan for getting down here, because like I said, another reason he came down here was to deal with Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
So he's get ready. He told Abraham in a year, I'm going to come back, and in a year, Sarah's going to conceive. Now, it wasn't no miraculous thing that Abraham and Sarah did, but it was a miraculous spiritual work that God did in her womb to where she could conceive. Same way with Abraham. Okay. It was normal, just like you and I do today. It wasn't nothing no spectacular the way he had to do some old humming. No, he just put life back into their womb. That's all. Let's put it that way. So as he get ready to leave, in fact, God is still there with Abraham, and the two angels get ready to go to Sodom and Gomorrah now, because God already done gave him the word, go and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. You go back there and you report to me what's going on and let me know what's going on. God was still standing there with Abraham, and he sent the two angels off, right? Now, but before that, Abraham didn't know that God also was coming down there to deal with Sodom and Gomorrah, because his nephew, Lot and his wife and his son-in-laws, they lived in Sodom. I don't know if y'all know or recognize the story back in the Old Testament that when God first told Abraham to leave his country, and to leave his country because he was getting ready to do some work in Abraham, and Lot went with him. Okay. And it came to the point where that they got to the new place where they were at. There was a good part of the land, and then there was not so much good part of the land. And they were deciding about which one was going to take which one, because Lot and Abraham was not ready to go their separate ways now. So Abraham told Lot, well, whichever way you want to go, it's all right with me. Whatever which way that you go, that what you want to take and pursue, he said, I'll go the opposite way. Now, a lot of y'all didn't know that. That's in the Old Testament. I'm sort of paraphrasing it, but that's basically is what happened. But I said that to say that Lot ended up, I guess, got so far and traveling in going into new land that he ran into Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's where he ended up shacking at. That's where he ended up staying at, in Sodom. So he was in Sodom, where all this wickedness and just everything you can think of, the evilness and the wickedness and the sinful acts of man in his flesh, that's what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. Ain't that funny how there's Sodom and Gomorrah? Those are two different cities, but they're side by side. Wonder where we get double names from, San Francisco and New York. What
about St. Paul? What about St. Paul, Minneapolis, and
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Double-named cities. Cities that have double names, because there's two of them. So that's where Sodom and Gomorrah was. So Lot stayed in Sodom. Gomorrah was right across from it, I guess. And God told himself, he was talking to us as he was saying, I shouldn't hold this thing against Abraham, because Abraham didn't know what God came down there to do with Sodom and Gomorrah, but he knew his nephew Lot was in there. So when God said, I won't hold this thing from him, ain't that something?
Right.
Like God needed his permission from Abraham to go do what he had to do with the wickedness of sinful man, especially the sin that was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
Because like I said, this all started out with Noah after the flood.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that door was open again, okay? For evil to manifest itself. And the only way it could do it was in the flesh of man.
Reptilian complex. R complex.
See, right. Exactly, son. Exactly. So God said, because of the type of relationship that he had with Abraham, he said, I won't hold this against him. I'm going to let him know. Because God already knew that his nephew Lot was in there anyway.
Right.
So when God shared this with Abraham and told him what he was about ready to go do, this is the first thing Abraham realized, that his nephew Lot and his wife and their husbands was in Solomon, right? And God told him, I'm getting ready to go destroy both cities with fire and brimstone. Now, brimstone is sulfur. Sulfur. And when it came down from heaven, it was that, I think it was the same fire that it was, God said he has an eternal lake of fire. It wasn't like the fire that we make down here on earth. No, this ain't the kind of fire God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with. Like if your house catch on fire, because in order for a fire to start down here in this earth, it has to be from something that is combustible.
Right.
To burn.
Right.
Okay. Now this is coming from the spirit realm, down from out of the sky, from heaven, down to the earth. So this is eternal fire that God is destroying Sodom and Gomorrah with smoke and brimstone, sulfur. He must make sure that nobody lives. The same way he did with the flood. So he tells Abraham what he get ready to do. Abraham already knows that his nephew is in there, so he's thinking about his nephew. So he began to bargain with God. Listen, people. This how it goes to show you how that when you can have some influence on God to the point that you can have God change his mind about what he gonna do and what he want to do anyway. And this is what he did with Abraham. So him and Abraham, they began to bargain. Now, when Abraham knew what God was going to do with Sodom and Gomorrah, he started pleading with God. About good and evil. And if there was any good in Solomon, would you destroy the good also? Or he would use the word righteous. Would you also destroy the righteous, which is a good person, along with the wicked? Now, right now, God already know what Abraham is coming to, because he's thinking about his nephew. So he began to talk to him, and he began to negotiate with God. So he tells God, he said, okay. He said, would you destroy it if it was 50 righteous in there? Would you still destroy the righteous with the wicked? God said, I tell you what, if it's 45, if it's 50 people in there, I'll spare the whole city. Ain't that something? God would spare the whole city, knowing how wicked and evil it was. Now, Abraham know how wicked Sodom and Gomorrah was. So he said, so he said God again. He said, please. He said, I'm not trying to press you, Lord, but would you destroy it if it was 45? God looked at Abraham and he said, for 45 people, I'll spare the city. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm just going to come to the point that by the time Abraham got through negotiating and bargaining with God for his nephew and his wife and their sons-in-laws, it got down to 10 people. That's how much bargaining that Abraham did to save his nephew. God started out with 50. Because Abraham brought the number up to him. If it was 50, God never said anything about how many people was in there. He didn't care. He knew it was wicked and evil. That's where all acts of homosexuality and I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
But anyway, it got to the way God said, if there's 10 people left in there, I'll spare the whole city. And it still wasn't 10 people. So God allowed for Abraham to be able to just let Lot and his wife and their husband come out. So I think it was less than even 10 people, you know. 2, 3, 4. I guess it was no more than maybe 7, 8 people. It wasn't 10 people, though. But so anyway, so the angels, by this time the angels, they had already went to go check out Sodom and Gomorrah. Let me get my notes. Because it's ready to get good. It's getting ready to get good.
Take your time, man. Take your time, man. Hit that like button, y'all, man. Click on the bell. Subscribe to the page. Share on your social engineering and all of that, man. Your TikTok, your Facebook, Instagrams, and all of that, man. Twitter and all of that. Tap in and walk with us every Sunday. We get into it. Spiritual Roots Sunday with me and my pops, man. Y'all already know what it is. Yeah.
Okay, like I had said before, that the stench and the cry of it came, it was so loud that it reached in heaven to where God was at, that he heard it. And he said before that I judged to do any of this, because like I said, when God was at the spirit realm, that kind of stuff could never enter into the spirit realm where he was at in his kingdom. Okay? But the cry, the loudness and the noise of it. Can you imagine that sin and wickedness and immorality could be and even have a sound to it? The guy heard it. They said it was a loud noise. And then he heard the cry of it. This is all just with his ears. He's just hearing it. He ain't seeing anything. He's just hearing it. And he said, before I pass judgment on it, he said, I'm going to go down here myself. And he left his kingdom, came in the form of a man. Now people say, that God comes in the form of, yeah, he is one made man. He created man. He made him from the dirt. How come God said, I am that I am? That's what he told Moses up in the mountain. When he told him he wanted to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let his people go. And Moses was telling him, well, I'm just this and I'm just that. They're not going to listen to me. Yeah. And anyway, you telling me all this to tell them, who shall I tell them that you are? And who sent me? God said, you just tell them I am that I am. Well, I asked the Lord that one time. God, what do you mean by you say, I am that I am? He said, that ain't hard to figure out, my son. I am that I am. Whatever that I am, that's what I am. So he can be anything that he wants to be. He was a rock. He was fire. That's who that was when Moses went up to the mountain and it was a burning bush that did not consume. Who do you think was in that burning bush? That was eternal fire. Everybody know about the eternal lake of fire? That's God. He's a consuming God. I give you another footnote in the Revelation, you two people. Back in the day when Jesus was on the earth, anyone that looked in his eyes, looked directly in his eye-to-eye contact, you know what they saw? Fire. Eternal fire. They didn't see pupils like you see me. If I look in your eyes and you look in my eyes, you'll see our pupils. Now, when they looked in Jesus' eyes, they saw fire. Eternal fire. Just a little footnote. Yes.
Talk to him. So yeah, though, man, y'all know we gotta get to it, man. Like I said, it's always important, though, man. This is why I like rocking with my pops, because he does it so well. You feel me? Gotta lay foundation. You hear me? This is why we gotta always go back to where it all started.
That's right.
We gotta go back to the foundation. We gotta go back to the source, right? So now that we done sit up there and lay foundation, now we gotta get into it. Now. Right now, so, and my dad's shared this with me before. So basically, right, we ain't gonna sit up here and speculate. You know what I'm saying? What's the name did to Adam, whatever it is, when he woke up and he said, "What did you do?" We ain't gonna even speculate about what he actually did, but you know what we do know is that it was something physical, and we know it was something that was not. Not something acceptable in the sights of God. How about that? Right.
Right.
You hear me?
And if you respond to that back to Noah about when his son Ham saw his nakedness.
Yeah, Ham, yes.
I knew that's what you was talking about, son. That's why God gave me the revelation.
Right.
Let me share to know that it was a sexual act his son did on him. When he woke up from his drunkenness.
Right. And
when he saw what his son had done to him. Now, his son had already done left after he did the act. So what was the proof? What was the physical proof that he had to know his son did something to him? Come on, people.
Talk to him.
Take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. And it had to be something sexual and physical because he said he cursed him. Why would I curse my son if he just happened to just see me naked? Come on.
Right.
But that was the first act of homosexuality. But this is just the beginning of it. I'm getting ready to back all that up.
Talk to him.
To remove all doubt or all this foundation that I'm in right now. I'm going to go to my word and I'm going to read you scripture from the Genesis and then go clear up into Romans to show you that what I'm talking about is true. So you can receive it and accept it the way that it's given to you. And if it's not facts, it's truth. You will always win out facts. Because facts can come from men. That's their concept of thinking, you know. And then they still got to do their homework, and that still don't make them right.
And facts change.
But truth never changes.
Constant. 2 plus, listen here, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. 2 plus 2 is going to always equal 4. Y'all thought I was about to put a 5 up there. It's always going to be 4. I don't care in what world, what reality, dimension, universe, galaxy, dispensation. I don't care which one of those things you find yourself in. 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4. Even in its inverse, -2 plus -2 equals -4. That lets you know that the truth is constant right there. Even when you try to invert the truth, it's still what it is.
Right.
Talk to him, Pops.
Now, like I said before, God passed the judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah. Like I said, as a spirit and being spiritually what and who he is, there's 2 different ways that he can see that, okay? Because like I said, he's a God of holiness, you know. So that's why he said that I have to go down. You know, it's really deep when man does something so mind-boggling to where God himself said I have to go down near myself and see for my own self in the form of flesh before I pass judgment on this city, these 2 cities. But from the cry of it and the loud noise of it and the stench of it, the stench of it was coming up to where I'm at before I pass judgment, let me go down here and see for myself. So he said, all right, come on, I'm taking 2 of your angels with me. So it was God and 2 angels. Ain't that something? He just said, come on, you 2 angels, come with me. We can make a visit to the earth. That's the way God gave it to me. That's what he told me. That's how he did it. That's why I shared it with you, the way that I'm giving it to you. That's the way he gave it to me when I began to start studying and digging in this stuff. He said, before I pass judgment, because of who and what I am as a spirit, and I'm of the Holy Spirit, I'm good, you know. I can't see evil from this point of where I'm at as being who I am and what I am. So in order for me to see it from a bird's eye view, from another perspective, then I have to become like a man. And I got to go down there and see it for myself.
Man, y'all know how that's powerful, man.
Yeah, it's powerful. That's why God said, I am that I am. He was a burning bush. Come on, y'all. He wrote the 10 Commandments with the finger of his hand. Come on. And that was with fire, eternal fire. If you ever watched the movie of Moses, the 10 Commandments, now man can only do so much in Hollywood. You know, with props.
Right.
And things seem like that they are. But you know, God also, he'll put his little touch on that too. To show his children that is him. Alright? So Hollywood don't get the total credit for all that. You know, just like the way they parted the waters, the Red Sea, when it was parted, everybody see the 10 Commandments?
Right.
And how the sea was parted. Now, God gave me a revelation of that one. I might share it with you before this podcast is over with. But I'm moving on with this. So, he tells his angels, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to kick it with, and I'm paraphrasing this because this is the way God talks to me, people, okay?
Right.
This is how my God talks to me, you know. All that thous and those and thems and all that. God don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Talk to me like who I am, and I can understand him and he understands me. So he's telling I'm going to kick it here with Abraham, and you angels go and investigate and check out why we down here.
Right.
And if it's all the way that I think that it is, and if you see it from the way it is, because don't you know that God can see through the eyes of his spiritual creation? That's another revelation. I just got that one.
Now let me stop you right here on that, right there. Right. Let me stop you right there. Y'all notice how on here on Spiritual Roots Sundays, man, hit that like button, y'all. This is monumental game y'all getting right here. This is next level teaching y'all getting right here, man. You hear me? Y'all know when I talk to y'all about the voice of God technology. Remember how I always tell y'all that whatever the Most High, capital G, capital O, capital D got, Lucifer saying the devil has in his inverse, right? See, my dad just was describing the eternal voice of God, but in the world, LSD has the voice of God, G, lowercase o, lowercase d. And this is technology to where it can transmit through hacking through our brain, human brain computer interfacing, right? And they can put images, thoughts, concepts, ideas, notions, and transmit them into your brain.
Right.
Y'all seen the movie The Manchurian Candidate? All right. And this is called the voice of God technology, or voice to skull technology. They used it in Rwanda. Y'all heard me saying my song, what I say, in dreams. I hypnotize the track like a nigga practice voodoo, voice of God, Crimson Mist, Tootsies and Hutus. Y'all remember when I broke that down to y'all? That's why I put that in the song. The voice of God technology is what they used in Rwanda during the Rwandan genocide between the Hutus and the Tutsis. You feel me? Y'all remember that? Remember that movie Hotel Rwanda back in the day?
Yep, I got that movie.
Right? See that movie back in the day, Hotel Rwanda? That was the depiction of what happened in Rwanda during that genocide. They flew a plane over, and they was practicing. Remember I told y'all about DEWs, DEWs, directed energy weapons, right? And they transmitted this Remember when I showed y'all the scene from Incredible Hulk when he was on a college campus and he turned into the Hulk and they had to bring out those two machines that was hitting him with them sound waves from both sides? That is directed energy weapons, voice of God, voice of the skull technology, hacking into the brain, human brain computer interfacing, digital DNA downloading and storage. All this stuff I'll be talking to y'all about. This is Lucifer, Satan, the devil manifesting himself through it as the technology, right? And according to what my pops just said, right, this is where it stemmed from. Exactly. And I just like to have these conversations. It's good that we do this because we can connect the two so y'all can see how it all connect and correlate together. I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. Hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the page and all of that. Go ahead, Pops.
And not only that, son, but and add a little icing on that, what you just said. Right. That's the same thing it was with Moses and his brother Aaron.
Right.
Moses told him that he wasn't an eloquent speaker, you know, and he didn't know how to say and form the words that what God wanted him to know. He said, don't even worry about it. He said, I'm going to use Aaron's voice.
Right.
His brother.
Right.
I use his voice to talk through him, to tell you, and to speak for the people. You ever notice that Aaron was always the one that spoke before them. When he went to Pharaoh, each time he went to Pharaoh, he even had the rod. God gave him a stick. Remember when he was up on the mountain of Moriah, when God was telling him what he wanted to do, to set his people free from Egypt, and he had a stick that Moses had, and he told him to throw the stick on the ground, and it turned into a serpent. He picked the stick back up, and then he picked the snake up and it became a stick again. He told Moses, put your hand inside of he had on some kind of, the clothing he had on, put your hand inside of your clothing. And when he put his hand inside of his clothing and he took it out, he had leprosy. His whole arm became leprosy. God told him, put your arm back in your clothes again. And when he put it in there and took it back out again, it was full and healed again. So that's what he told him. He said, I'll get your brother Aaron. He'll be my spokesman. I was saying that to say that what my son was saying is true, how that God always can use someone because he said, I am that I am. But that was why before he decided to judge it, and to destroy it, he said he was going to come down here among it and see for itself. So he sent his angels, you know. And he's connected because it's all spirit, right? And he told his angels, go and see. Because he's seeing God in flesh. Listen, y'all. God being in flesh, being the man, when his two angels came down here with him in the flesh of men, when they went to Sodom and Gomorrah, because God didn't go to Sodom and Gomorrah with them. He said, let me come down here and let me see for myself. Now, if he didn't go with them, then how could he see for himself? He was seeing through the eyes of his angels that he sent into Sodom and Gomorrah.
See, that's why I had to break that down to y'all earlier. Hold on, me came up again. That's why I had to just break that down to y'all, how like everything, like I say, that God has, LSD has in this inverse. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Where God has a holy use for it. Y'all gotta understand what the word holy means. Right.
Not only that, but Jesus even told them, once you are saved and born again, and filled with the Holy Ghost, he said that when you come before men and kings and people of stature, he said, don't worry about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it and what you're going to say. He said, it won't be you, but it'll be the Holy Spirit in you talking through you for me. So you don't even have to think about how you're going to deal with these people when you stand before them.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay? That's just to lock that down in what my son just said.
It's powerful, right, Andrea? That's powerful, right? Uncle Diggity, Lance Parker. You hear me?
And not only that, but he talks to us.
Definitely.
God is talking to you. God has talked to my YouTube family. One time or another, believe me, God has talked to you. And those know who that it was him that talked to them. Okay? Because you hear different voices now. You also hear the voice of Satan. All right? But you definitely know the voice of God when you hear it. You might not know that it's necessarily the devil, but you'll know when God speaks to you.
You did.
In your mind, you know that it's him. Because he know how to get your attention when he wanted. He made you. He created you. He gave you everything that's inside your mind, your body. He know everything about you. He created you, so he know you. He know how to get in touch with you when he wants, and he know when he wants you to hear him. And you will hear him when he wants you to hear him. But moving right along, so that's why.
That could be another topic for another day, right there, man.
Yeah.
The spiritual roots of the voice of God.
Yeah.
We might have to get into that next Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's go, Pop.
Okay, so footnote, henceforth, I believe that the penalty for that kind of sinful sexual wickedness is the results from where we have AIDS and HIV today. And that's the first half of my notes. And I'm getting ready to put the icing on all this right now.
Right.
I'm coming out of Genesis chapter 9. I'm going to read, so you got to keep up with me because I ain't going to be all day, but I'm setting it up where you can understand it and receive it.
Verse what?
That's Genesis, the 9th chapter of Genesis.
Verse what?
We're going to start at this is just a little ice that I want to just share with you real quick. I'm gonna start at the verse 2 real quick. This is not directly with what I'm getting ready to say, but this is just still coming from what happened with Noah. When I was saying earlier how God gave him everything back to Noah that he gave to Adam in the garden after the flood, and when the water succeeded from the earth, and when dry land appeared again, and when all the animals came out of the ark and everything, this is what he told Noah. He said, "There are now given unto your hand every moving animal that is alive may serve as food for you." Okay. So see, I'm not bashing nobody, but Muslims talking about don't eat pork and all that little kind of stuff. That's because they choose not to, okay? It's not a sin if you like pork. So don't feel like you sinful because you like pork. Might not be healthy for your body because everybody's body is different. But it's not a sinful act. They use that in the New Testament about when Jesus talking about the swines, when the spirits that he cast out of that man, legion, that was in the man that was in the cave that possessed, and they talking about why you here to torment us before our time, and ask them, well, if you're going to get rid of us, then allow for us to go into these swines.
That's a powerful paradigm right there. They're going to understand the swine, man.
They took that and they ran away with it. But I'm reading here right now to you where it says that this is what he told Noah. It says, "Give it into your hand." He said, "Every moving animal that is alive may serve as food for you. Just as I have gave them all to you. Only flesh with its life and its blood you must not eat." That's talking about cannibalism, people. That's talking about when people wants to eat people, like Jeffrey Dahmer and all that old wicked, crazy, stupid stuff. That's what he was referring to, okay? Because you already done said that the verse above that you can eat every animal that you want to, so there's no harm in eating whatever animal that you want. Just don't take a human life and eat it. But look what we have cannibalism going on today. Thank God didn't know what he was talking about. He said, "You must not eat." He said, "Besides that I will command an accounting for your lifeblood. I will demand an accounting from every living creature, and from each man I will demand an accounting for the life of his brother." Y'all hear what I'm saying? Murder. What that take you back to the garden after the fall? What Cain did to Abel, slew his brother. Am I my brother's keeper? This is what God told Noah after renewing of everything about man killing man. He said, I will demand an account of the life of his brother. Anyone shedding man's blood by man will his own blood be shed. For in God's image he made man. As for you, be fruitful and become many, and increase abundantly on the earth and multiply. Then God said to Noah, this is what I was reading to you earlier about how he restored back everything to Noah that what he had restored, how he had gave Adam in the garden. Then he said to Noah and to his sons with him, I am now establishing my covenant with you and with your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the living creatures of the earth with you. All those that came out of the ark, every living creature on the earth. Yes, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all flesh be destroyed by the waters of a flood. I'm going to stop there and throw this in. Look how many floods and hurricanes and all kinds of stuff we done had to have to do with water.
Right.
Right? Still, it's nothing like when God flooded it. He never said there was going to be no more floods. But he said that the way he did it, he'll never do that away again. That's what he's saying right here. He said, yes, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all flesh be destroyed by the waters of a flood. And never again will a flood bring the earth to ruin. In other words, God will never destroy this earth like he did the first time. But he took everything and everybody out. Not only just man, but also his other creation, his creatures, the birds, the four-footed beasts, and all those. The only ones that survived and had nothing to worry about was those that was already in the water. They didn't have to worry about dying because they was of water. He says, and God added, this is the sign of the covenant. That's the sign. Okay, so I'm getting ready. When I say this, so you're going to go, I already know.
Mm-hmm.
And God added, this is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I put my rainbow down, and it will serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring a cloud over the earth, then the rainbow will certainly appear in the cloud, and I will certainly remember my covenant that I made between me and you and every living creature of every kind, and never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the rainbow will occur in the cloud, and I will certainly see it. People, I'm reading this out of Genesis. 9th chapter, the 16th verse. Look it up for yourself. This is what God is saying to Noah. He said, and the rainbow will occur in the cloud, and I will certainly see it, and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of every kind on the earth. God repeated to Noah this in the sign of the covenant that I established between me and all flesh that is on the earth.
Let me stop you right here real quick, Pops, man. Now listen here. This is, man, you know, this is crazy, man, but it's a beautiful thing at the same time, man. Everything that God creates in this natural, right, balanced, and reflection of him state, this God, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, has to invert it. This and I want to keep emphasizing this to let you know, this is where we get the hive mind collective new think from. This is where we get psychopathy from and all mental disease, because you got to think, in order for Lucifer to even have the thought that he could somehow exalt and abdicate the Most High from his throne. That is, I want y'all to understand how powerful that is and what that means as far as implications for why things are in our reality. You hear me? You know what I'm talking about? And, you know what I'm saying? I want to touch on this thing with the swine real quick, Pops. You hear me? Now, how was it that Yeshua was able to cast the legion of demons into the swine? Why, out of everything else that they could have possibly been transferred to, did they choose the swine? I wonder if you ever thought about that, right? The dirt, the trees, the leaves, some other birds, whatever, from fowl in the air, whatever. They chose the swine, which is the characteristics of a pig.
Right.
You hear me?
Right.
Right? And a pig, powerful. Y'all ain't ready for that, man. We're going to go to that. So we're going to get to that for another day, man. We ain't going to get into that, man. Let's stick to the topic, man. Go ahead, Pops.
In saying that, though, son, I mean, you raised a question there, you know? But one thing like that happened is, when all that took place, it was the demons that requested that Jesus let them go in the swine.
Right.
Okay? He could have put them in where he got demons right now that are bound by eternal chains. Okay? In the earth.
Right.
They didn't want to go there yet because he told them, you know, why you come to torment us before our time? See? They didn't want to leave the earth. See, they didn't want to go down there where the other demons was already chained and bound at. Okay?
Right.
So they asked him, then allow us to go into these swines. Now, the reason why they was the swines, I think, is because that they were filthy animals, and God was comparing them to uncircumcised and circumcised, or being clean and being unclean.
Right.
Because a pig would eat anything.
Right. Right.
Okay? And they got hoofs.
Right.
Okay.
So
and they go into the pig, then that's why Jesus said, okay, you know, he was even being merciful to the demons.
Talk to him.
He was being merciful to the demons. He told them, okay, I'll let that happen. I'm not going to send you where I could have sent you. But since you requested to go into the swine, I allow for that to be. So when they entered into the swines, and it was over like 2,000 swines, so there must have been a lot of demons because legion.
Man.
The man that was bound in the tomb, and he kept cutting himself and throwing himself in the fire and everything because he was totally possessed with all them demons in him.
Right.
And it was so powerful and so strong that when it entered into the swines, it shook the swines up so bad that they just ran off the cliff and ran into the water.
Now.
He bound themselves.
Right. Now let me
That's how powerful and wicked that them spirits was in the swines that the pigs couldn't even deal with it.
Right. Now let me tell you now, Legion, right? Legion is a Roman
1,000 demons.
Yeah, Legion is a Roman Legion is a Roman number.
It's a Roman number for 10,000.
And it's a Roman number for hold on, it's not 10,000, Pops. Let me get it correct here.
1,000? 12,000?
No, it's not 12,000. It's less than that. I want to say it's 6,000.
It's 10,000.
I want to say it's 6,000. Right?
All right.
A legion is 6,000. In the Roman army, when they had a legion, it was 6,000 soldiers.
Okay.
Right. So when we're thinking about these demons who were legion, and he cast them into the swine. Right. Swine is the characteristic of a pig, and the pig is the animal. Right. Which is the fallen state.
Right.
Of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. See, the snake wasn't the only entity or conduit that Lucifer, the Satan, the devil, was able to manifest himself through.
Right.
Just like Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Satan is the imagination, psychopath, dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality, alters of, right? And then we got the devil, which is another one, the threefold paradigm, you know what I'm saying? Then we have the same thing with the swine, which is the characteristics of a pig. Right? You know what I'm saying? You hear my dad just describe the physicalities of a pig is literally the structure of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. So that's why Yeshua cast the legion of demons into the swine, because it was of its kind.
Exactly. That's revelation, son. You just got revelation and just shared it with everybody, me and YouTube family. That's revelation.
Hey, this is why I want us to have this conversation, because I kind of came up on this a minute ago. You hear me?
I know you did. That's what revelation means. You just got it.
Right, but I just think it's a beautiful thing to connect everything when we talk about together, because you know what I'm saying. When we're talking about homosexuality, we got to understand that homosexuality is a representation of the imagination that Lucifer, Satan, the devil could somehow abdicate God from his throne. And as this psychopathy coming made manifest as Satan and the devil, right, manifested many other demons as well, which one of them is homosexuality, which is a very powerful stronghold entity. It's generational, legion in its essence, right? Powerful, right, y'all, man? Hit that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page. Yeah, whoever this Rob Knox's podcast is, just like my man Lance Parker say, man, you know what I mean? You know, you got all type of guys coming in here from off the World Wide Web, you know what I'm talking about? But when you come over here to A Real Talk podcast, be respectful. We're not saying you being disrespectful, because they ain't really say, but you know what I'm talking about. Just notice I told you we don't domesticate demons over here, we decapitate them. Something like what we're doing right now by exposing. Let me tell you what decapitation, spiritual decapitation is, right? Let me just say this real quick, Paul. Spiritual decapitation is exposition or exposing. By exposing the how can I say it, Paul? By exposing the demon time for what it is, right? That makes it much more easier to decapitate it or send it back to where it came, because it no longer has any type of stronghold over us, right? Remember when I told y'all it was people born inside the matrix who could make it do whatever they saw fit? You hear me? We don't play no games over here. Thanks, Andrew. You already know. You're all welcome. You're all welcome. Listen, we welcome trolls over here. Like I said, we don't domesticate them. We decapitate them. I don't think I'm gonna keep saying that, so I'm gonna put that in the song. There got to be some bars to go in the song, Pop. Go ahead. Now,
it's what you can add to it, son. This is what you're saying, because this is the same thing that what God told the serpent in the garden when he said that my seed will crush your seed's head. See, still saying word head.
And we're Pops.
But he said to crush it, so it's in the same scenario.
Yeah, decapitating is definitely crushing. Look, Pops, and where did that happen at?
In the garden. In the garden.
You have to always return to the source. Remember what the architect told Neo? You must return to the source. Who do y'all think the architect was a representation of?
Tell him, son. And another thing that I wanted to share, another footnote, is that you remember when Moses used to go to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh, his magicians and everything, threw down, 2 sticks, and they turned into serpents.
Right.
Moses threw down his stick to 2 serpents. The devil can never outdo God, no matter what. God don't have to duplicate it, but God can always overdo. and do better than what he do. Because God, he fights with what he fights with. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Okay? But in moving along with that, I'm getting ready to read back to you just to illustrate what I was just saying earlier about Noah. And I said that he was a farmer, so this is coming out of Genesis, still the 9th chapter. Now I'm at the 22nd verse.
Yeah. Hold on real quick, Pops. Shout out to Cupcake and Andrea in the building. You already know how we do over here, man. We ain't playing no games with y'all, man. Listen, Spiritual Roots, man. We exposing, man. We ain't playing no games, man. You hear me? Hit that like button. Click on the bell. Subscribe to the page. You know what I'm saying? We over here laying foundation and giving revelation. You know what I'm talking about? At the same time, you know what I mean? We got them to do a next level teaching, man. Y'all ain't never heard stuff like this before. I know only a few people breaking this down like this to y'all, man, on this here YouTube, man. I can literally name them on one hand, and I think I'm gonna have like a finger left over, not even 5. I'm gonna say it's only 4. All right? Real talk, man. Let's go, Pops. The spiritual roots of homosexuality with your guys, Virgil Berry, aka Stats to the Facts, and my man, my Pops, man, Virgil Berry Sr. Let's go, man.
Yeah, because see, God don't want you to know this. First of all, the devil don't want you to know this. He don't want you to know the truth. Now, the 9th chapter of Genesis, starting at the 20th verse. I'm just recapping what I read to you earlier about Noah and how it came about when I thought this was the first act of homosexuality.
Right.
Now, Noah started, it's in the 20th verse of the 9th chapter of Genesis.
You said the 20th verse?
The 20th verse.
All right, I'm here. Hold on, let me bring it up on the screen for him, Pops.
All right.
All right, go ahead, Pops.
And this is a revised version of it. This is not from the King James version,
right.
But it's a revised version because it gives you a little bit more understanding of it too. That's the only thing I like about the revised version of the word.
Right.
Is that it gives you a little bit more understanding of it.
Right.
They're the same thing, but just basically gives you a little more insight to it.
Right.
Now, Noah started off as a farmer, like I said earlier in my notes. And he planted a vineyard. So he first one started drinking wine, making wine.
Which is a spirit. Hold on, Pops. Let me stop you real quick. Which is a spirit, which is a demon. In Arabic, they call this spirit al-Kul. Right? From which we get alcohol. Now think of the word, I'm going to break this down to y'all one of these days. Right? And it's crazy that Cupcake, listen, baby. You hear me? Listen, baby. Cupcake. It's crazy because listen what I'm about to say. Al-Kul, right? Which is an Arabic word meaning spirit. You hear me? We get alcohol. Now, when we talk about Africa, its original name, Pops, if you didn't know, was Al-Kibulan.
Okay. Which
is a whole bunch of different words just up in that one word right there, right? But one of the key words in Al-Kibulan is Al-Kul. Right? I'm going to just leave y'all with that, right? You hear me? I'm going to get into that one of these days, man, and break that paradigm with y'all about the moon and all of that stuff. You hear me? Go ahead, Pops.
Yeah, that's where the word alcohol come from.
Right. Al-Kul.
Okay. So now Noah started off as a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. When he drank of the wine, he became intoxicated, and he uncovered himself inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness, and he told his 2 brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment and put it upon both their shoulders and walked it in backwards. They didn't look upon the nakedness of their father. They were in backwards. Thus they covered their father's nakedness up, while their faces was turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. Now this is what I was telling you earlier when I read my notes. This is what happened when Noah comes to. When Noah woke up from his wine and learned what his younger son had done to him. He didn't say nothing about that his son saw, because the son wasn't even in there at the time when he woke up.
Right.
So it had to be something that he did to him for him to know. He said when he saw what his son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan. Let him become the lowest slave to his brothers." He cursed him. That's why I said I believe that was the first act of homosexuality. Okay. Man with man. Him with his own father. Now, I'm jumping forward now. Now we get ready to get into Sodom and Gomorrah. Back in Genesis chapter 18. I'm going to start at the 16th verse.
Hold on, Pops. Hold on. Let me get there real quick. You said 18?
The 18th chapter of Genesis, and we're going to start at the 16th verse.
All right. Well, let me get there. All right, we're here. All right, hold on, Paul. Let me bring it up on the screen. All right, let's go.
Okay. Remember when I put a little, when I said earlier about how when God said that he wasn't going to hide this from Abraham? This is what I'm about ready to show you. When the men got up to leave and looked down toward Sodom, Abraham was walking with them to escort them. Jehovah said, Am I keeping hidden from Abraham what I am going to do? While Abraham is surely going to become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed by means of him. For I have come to know him in order that he may command his sons and his household after him to keep Jehovah's way by doing what is right and just, so that Jehovah may bring about what he had promised concerning Abraham. Then Jehovah said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is indeed great, and their sin is very heavy. I will go down to see whether they are acting according to the outcry that had reached me, and if not, I can get to know it. Ain't that something? He came down here. It reached up to him when he was at in the spirit realm, in his kingdom, but he couldn't see it for what it was, as being wicked and evil. That's why he came down here in flesh to see for himself. That's deep.
That's super deep, man.
And God is all-knowing God. He knows everything. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. And then Jehovah said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great indeed, and their sin is very heavy. He says, then the men left from there and went toward Sodom, but Jehovah remained with Abraham. Didn't I tell y'all that God stayed there with Abraham while the two angels went to Solomon? Right there in black and white. Then Abraham approached and said, we'll really sweep away the righteous with the wicked. When I was telling you about the 50, the 45, the 40, the 30. Okay, this part I'm getting to now, but I'm reading it from out of the word. Then Abraham approached and said, will you really sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous men within the city. Will you then sweep them away and not pardon the place for the sake of the 50 righteous who are inside it? It is unthinkable that you would act in this manner by putting the righteous man to death with the wicked one, so that the outcome for the righteous man and the wicked is the same. God is a just God. It is unthinkable of you. See, that's how the type of relationship Abraham had with God, that he knew God was not like that. Him talking to God like that, reminding him of who you are, your righteousness, and you being who you are, and you're going to kill the righteous with the wicked, that ain't like you, Lord. That's what he was saying. Pleading with him.
So let me stop you right there, Pops, right?
Uh-huh.
Let me stop you right there for a second, right? So think about what my Pops just said, y'all, concerning Sodom and Gomorrah Homosexuality, the spiritual roots. So just think of what Noah said to God. Like, and this is the God that's in Noah that was able to know. This is some crazy. This is deep right here. Listen, man. God was so upset by getting confirmation of the information. Shout out to Symphony P. By getting confirmation of the information that what he smelt stinking to high heaven. That's just where the term comes from. Stinking to high heaven.
Right.
Right.
There you go,
he was so disgusted by it being what he was thinking it could possibly potentially be that he almost went out of character, or was willing and thinking to go out of character, almost doing what Lucifer, Satan, did, because he was so upset by it. So would that let you know how he feel about homosexuality? To the point to where he destroyed not one, but 2 cities.
2 cities.
Completely. Think about that, man. And this is not me. This ain't me and my pops doing like that. Nah, man. We just shining light and exposing the demon for what it is and decapitating it.
Right.
Don't be mad at us, man. This is don't be mad at us. And it was crazy, pops, is because a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ LMNOP barbecue committee agenda claim to be Christians.
Right.
Right. But don't know this. And not that, because if it all came down to it, we probably all going to the same place if it all went down tonight. How about that?
Right.
Right. So this goes back to when I say fools, man. Right. But through the fools, right? Through the fools, the truth can still be spoken. And those who have the ears to hear, and the eyes to see, hear, will make the proper things, will make the proper precautions, plans, and procedures that they know they need to do to get themselves right with the Most High. Hit that like button, smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. Share your social engineering. Go ahead, Pops.
See, so Abraham was telling God, that's how well Abraham knew God, and that's the type of relationship that Abraham had with God, that he knew God enough to know. He said, that is even unthinkable for you. He said, will you judge all of the earth and not do what is right? Ain't that something? Abraham talked to God like this.
It's powerful.
Then Jehovah said, if I find in Solomon 50 righteous men in the city, he said, I will pardon the whole place for their sake. Come on, people. As wicked and evil that it was and sinful, if he found 50 people that was righteous, he said he would call off destroying the city. But Abraham again responded, please, here I have presumed to speak to Jehovah, whereas I am dust and ashes. He knew I'm just a man, but still, he's still speaking, he still pleads his case. He said, where I am just dust and ashes, suppose the 50 righteous should lack 5. In other words, it'd be 45. Because of the 5, will you destroy the whole city? God said to him again, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people in there. But yet again he spoke to him and said, here Abraham still pushing his luck. Suppose there are 40 are found there. He answered, he said, I will not do it for the sake of the 40. But he continued, Jehovah, please do not become hot with anger. See, now he knows, Abraham knows he's starting to piss God off now. That's why he told him, please don't be angry with me now, because I know I'm pushing my point. And I know I'm pushing myself with you. Just don't be angry with me. Don't mess around and turn me into a whole pile of ashes. Just hear me out. But that's the kind of relationship that Abraham had with God, that he could come to him like that. He said, do not become hot with anger, but let me go on speaking. Supposedly only 30 are found there. He answered, I will not do it if I find 30. Then Abraham pushed it again. But he continued, please, here I have resumed to speak to Jehovah. Supposedly only 20 are found there. He answered, he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Tell me God won't work with you. Huh? There's nothing you can do that God will not forgive you for, and nothing you can do that you can't go to God and talk about it and you and him can work it out. I don't care what you're going on through in your life. I don't care where you at in your life. Don't never run from God. Always run to him. Because he will help you. No matter what your life is about. No matter what you are doing. No matter where you are at. What frame of mind you are in. Okay? Never run from God. Always run to God. That's the trick of the devil. To always keep you from coming to God. Because you think you're not worthy of him. You think because you're in such a sinful, pitiful state that what God gonna do for me if I'm like this, you know? Come on, people.
Talk to him.
So it doesn't make any difference. So this is what Abraham was doing. So he finally got down to 20. He answered, he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Finally, he said, Jehovah, please do not come.
What?
He said, do not become hot with anger again, but let me speak just one more time. Supposedly only 10 are found there. Like he got started with 50. Now he's down to 10.
He got his car salesman game on.
He said, I will not destroy it for the sake of the 10. When Jehovah finished speaking to Abraham, he went his way, and Abraham returned to his place. Chapter 19, first verse. It's when it starts getting good now. The two angels arrived at Sodom by evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the earth. And he said, please, my lords, turn aside, please, until the house of your servants, and stay overnight and have your feet washed. Then you may get up early and travel on your way. See, he didn't even know they were there to take care of business. He told them to come into the house. He didn't know they were angels. He thought they were just regular men. And that's what, they did back in that day, when you had company come in like that, you watch the people because they were of a religious sect, so that was a part of their rituals and stuff. That's what they did.
Right.
You see, and they said, no, we will stay overnight in the public square. That means that they walked the streets. They didn't even go into Lot's house. They was going to see that it was all what God said that it was, from what was causing up to him, the crying and the loud noise and the stench of it, that they wanted to see. They couldn't find out anything sitting in Lot's house. So they walked the streets to see what was going on.
Let me stop.
But he was so insistent with them that they went with him to his house.
Right.
Then he made a feast for them, and he baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now, this was starting getting good, you two people. Before they could lie down to sleep, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, from a boy to an old man, from a boy to an old man, practicing homosexuality and doing all kind of wicked, evil, sinful stuff. That's how young that they was. And look at our young people today. Just what my son was talking about, that new gay gang. Look at their ages.
The Check It out of DC.
Yep.
Fun Boy capital of the USA, outside of Atlanta.
Right. See? So see, that was way back then.
Right.
Nothing new up under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun, Martin. Hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the page. Let me just say something real quick, Pops. Now, that caught my attention, Andrea, and I say, man, the devil is a goddamn it lie, man. Pops, what you know about... Now, this article is old, so this is kind of old, Andrea. I actually looked at this article, and this article came out in April 15, 2021. So this is actually almost a little over a year. Right? We have you looking at the screen, Pops? You on YouTube? On your phone? Okay, well, I'm just describing it to you. First drag queen certified as a candidate for United Methodist Ministry, speaking in a new way to new people. Isaac Simmons is the first openly gay man to be certified within the Illinois Great Rivers Conference, and, as far as anyone can tell, the first drag queen certified in the United Methodist Church. Mr. Pentecost delivers a message during the Hope United Methodist Church virtual service in Bloomington, Illinois on April 11th, 2021. The devil is a goddamn it lie, man. You hear me, man?
And the father of it.
You hear me? It's the truth, the lie from the deepest, darkest pit of hell. Look at this dude, man. Come on, man. Y'all cannot be serious, man. Can't be serious.
That's bad. That's really sad.
And this is being targeted towards the children too, Pops. This is being targeted towards the children too.
Right. That's why I say it says here from a boy to an old man.
So that lets you know the same thing going on right now was going on thousands of years ago in old Sodom and Gomorrah, man.
Right. This is the roots, the sexual roots or the spiritual roots of homosexuality. All started. So there's nothing new up under the sun, but this is just how bad it done gotten now to where we're at today.
Yes, it's just think about it like that. So what y'all think? Do y'all think that Sodom and Gomorrah was worse than what's going on now? Let me count up for that one. Let me repeat that. Do y'all think what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah was worse than what's going on now? That's the question. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah is worse or was worse than what's going on now. Put a 2 in the chat if you think now is exponentially worse than what we could ever imagine what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, although what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah is going on right now to this day.
Right. That's the seed of it. Everything that what we now experiencing in the way it is in our day, it was all that back in Sodom and Gomorrah.
And there's proof of all of this too, man.
Seed. Germinating. Growing. Sprouting. See? That's a seed. Now look what it has done today. Look what that seed has done today. So from a boy to an old man, all of them surrounded the house in one mob. And they kept calling out to Lot and saying to him, "Where are the men? To you tonight. Bring them out to us.
Listen.
So that we may have sex with them." Huh?
Talk to him, man.
I'm reading this right out of the Word of God.
Like a mirror image of what was going on back then to what's going on now, man. That was open and blatant with it back then, like how it is now.
Right.
To the point to where they seen those two guys. They didn't know who they got. Well, they were so consumed. Let me count up for this, man. Right? They were so consumed with the spirit of homosexuality and lust and sexual deviancy, right? That they were blinded by it. And they couldn't see the presence of these divine men in front of them. That didn't matter. They just knew they were extremely beautiful, and that just exacerbated. You know what I'm saying, Pops? It amplified the power of the entity, the spirit of homosexuality that had the control over them. It amplified it when they seen how beautiful these men were. This is the Baphomet agenda.
Yeah.
This is where this all comes from. This is where the whole transgender, like I say, LGBTQ, LMNOP, barbecue committee agenda. And they just keep adding letters. Facebook has 78. Pops, listen. Facebook has 78 different sexual identities that you can choose to identify your sexual orientation from, and you can pick more than one. Remember when I told y'all about multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder, honeycombing, alters for altered states of awareness, trauma-based mind control, your mind splinters up into alters from experiencing severe trauma, epigenetics, genetically inherited trauma. Man, y'all ain't ready for this level of teaching, man. But we're going to give it to y'all anyway, and y'all make of it what y'all will. Chaos Reign, what's good, man? It definitely is, Andrew. I've been seeing this, and I've heard about this, and this is sad. This is why I'll say the synagogue of Satan, man. Let's go, Pops.
Yeah, and also remember now, back in Noah's time, now see, like I said, that was the first originality of where homosexuality started. That's when the devil's nature, Satan's nature of the seed of evil, manifested itself in Noah. You know, Noah got drunk first of all, then he chose Lot. I mean, he chose Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ham was the one that made it happen. Okay. He opened up that door.
Oh, Pops, hold on. Let me stop you. Ham, Yeshua casted the legion of demons into the swine, which is the characteristics of a pig. Right. Ham is the hind quarter of the pig. We next level teaching over here, y'all, man. I'm telling me, come over quick again, Pops, man. Next level, man. Y'all ain't gonna get this nowhere else, man. Tap in, walk with us, hit that like button, smash that like button. You understand what I'm saying? Share on your social engineering, subscribe to the page, man. Let's go, man. Go ahead, Pops.
It could have been any of his other two sons.
It could have been any one of the other two. But it was Ham.
It was Ham.
I ain't eating ham no more, man.
Okay.
Hey, my bro Franz was just talking about. Hey, listen, Pop. My bro Franz was just talking about getting a honey baked ham for Thanksgiving too. I said, I think I'm gonna fall back on the honey baked ham, man. Go ahead, Pop.
And that'd be your choice, but that'd be because you just don't want it. Don't let it be because they're no crazy stuff.
Right.
Okay, but that was a good analogy of it, though.
Yeah.
Then Lot went out to them, to the doorway, and he shut the doorway behind him. He said, "Please, my brothers, do not act wickedly. Please, here I have two daughters." Now, he got two daughters.
Man, listen, Pops, man.
With a man.
This scripture right here to me, Pops, this is just how powerful. This will let me know how, man, this is ill right here, man. Go ahead, Pops, man.
I told you it was gonna be juicy, didn't I?
Yeah, man. This scripture right here is just so powerful. I don't even think people really understand this paradigm, this concept right here, and what that means in relation to the spirit of homosexuality and all that other creepy stuff that was going on.
It's destroying a part of mankind that I mean it's almost like like cancer.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
Just like cancer, it's spreading. But here's Lot telling them, I got 2 daughters that are virgins. He said, you can have your way with them. Take them.
Man, virgins, man. Hey, hold on, stop real quick, Pops. I got to count. Virgins. How many virgins y'all think is running around right now? Think about that, man. That's ill right there. Go ahead, Pop. Understand what it means to like offer up your virgin daughters in exchange and have your way with them. You hear me? Daughters, your daughters, versus even thinking about anything freaky with these 2 dudes right here. You hear me? Man, that's ill, man. That's powerful, man. That's powerful, man. This is a scripture that always just let me know how powerful things, man. That's ill, man. Think about that, man. Go ahead, Pops, man.
And here's Lot ready to give up his 2 virgin daughters that never had sex with a man. He's ready to offer them up, sacrifice his 2 daughters, and told them, have your way, do anything you want to do to them.
Anything you want to do to them.
He said, do to them whatever seems good to you, but do not do anything to these men. I think by then he recognized that they were more than just men.
Right.
Lot had to.
Right.
He had to, because he wouldn't have just gave up his daughters like that for just 2 regular men.
His daughters, man.
Especially his daughters.
Man, virgin daughters at that.
He says, for they have come under the shelter of my roof. At this they said. Now this is what they say to Lot, after Lot told them that.
Freaky.
He said, at this they said, stand back. And they added, this long foreigner, talking about Lot now,
right,
came to live here with us.
Right.
And yet he dares to judge us. Now we are going to do worse to you than what we was going to do to them. And they crowded in on Lot. And they moved forward to break down the door. So the men reached out their hands and brought Lot into the house with them. These are the 2 angels. And they shut the door. But they struck the men who were at the entrance of the house with blindness. From the least to the greatest. So that they worn themselves out trying to find the doorway. So the 2 angels, they struck them blind. They were blind.
Right.
Then the men said to Lot, do you have anyone else here? Son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and all your people in the city, bring out of this place. See, he giving Lot a chance to get all his people together. I don't know how many it was, but it couldn't have been that many.
Right.
So the angels was telling Lot, get all who you want to go, because we get ready to tear this place up.
With fire and brimstone, man.
He said, for we are going to destroy this place.
Right.
Because the outcry against them has indeed grown great before Jehovah. So that Jehovah sent us. Did I tell y'all God didn't come with them?
Don't ever forget that.
He said Jehovah sent us.
Right.
To destroy the city. So Lot went out and began to speak to his son-in-laws who were to marry his daughters. And he kept saying, get up, get out of this place, because Jehovah will destroy the city. But to his son-in-law, he seemed to be joking. See, the son-in-law thought he was playing. As dawn was breaking, the angels became urgent with Lot. In other words, they tell him, come on, it's time to go, get up, get up. You know,
we getting fed up now.
Yeah, God get ready to tear this place up. They ain't got time to be wasting. Y'all
Right.
y'all born, you better come on. Better get on this train, if I just still got the chance. He said, so take up your wife and your 2 daughters who are here with you, so that you will not be swept away in the error of the city.
Right.
When he kept it lingering, then because of Jehovah's compassion for him, the men seized hold of his hand and the hand of his wife and the hands of his 2 daughters, and they brought him out and stationed him outside the city. So then it was only 4. It was just Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters. His son-in-law didn't even go. So it was 4. I said it was probably less than 10. And this proves it right here. It was just 4 of them. And the angels had to force him to go. Because of what Abraham was talking to God about, if there was any righteous in the city, would you destroy him along with the wicked? Because Abraham already knew how his nephew was.
Right.
See, that's what happens when you hang around the wrong people. You pick up the same things that what they are about. Not who he was, being from the seed of Abraham through his brother.
Right.
See, being a Jew, got caught up in that and couldn't get out of it. And Abraham knew that. That's why when God came down there to talk to Abraham about one thing, he said, I'm not going to hide this other thing that I'm going to do in destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. God knew that Lot was there in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
He even knew Abraham was going to come to him about it.
Right.
Really. That's why he said that that's why he negotiated with Abraham. He was just hearing him out.
Right.
So when the angels got there and found out that what was going on, the ones that was becoming his son-in-law, they didn't want to leave. They thought he was joking and fooling around. You know, man, you can't, ain't nobody going to do nothing to him, man. What are you talking about? So the angels basically had to force Lot and his wife and his 2 daughters to come out of the city, only because of the relationship Abraham had with God. That's deep, people.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
how when God loves you, he won't go to no extremes.
Right.
He's there for you.
Right.
He can pull you out of the midst of sin, corruption, evil, wickedness, death, whatever. The worst of the worst of the worst, or whatever you think you can go through, God can always pull you out. Even sometimes if he has to force you.
I want to play this video right here. I'm going to interrupt you, Pop. I got to play this video right here, man, because this guy right here, man, he, in my opinion, he's pushing in advertising and marketing this agenda. I don't know it to be 100% true, so let's go and just say it could be argued. It's speculation. It's my opinion. But my opinion ain't got to mean nothing. But as a guy who's been around a lot of these type of guys when I was in prison, I'm telling you, this guy gives off huge fun boy energy. You hear me? I'm talking about none other than Kirk Franklin. Y'all got to watch this, man. Have y'all seen this, man? We got to watch this, man. Fair use, fair use.
Like Biggie J and Nas, the great escape of both. The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat. The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat.
I've been saying for a long time that
Man,
a lot of
listen.
these gospel artists and so-called bishops and apostles actually work for Satan. Some are deceived, some are deceivers. Kirk Franklin is clearly a deceiver. The lion.
Did y'all hear what Kirk Franklin said? The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat. That's another lie from the pit of hell.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me? The synagogue of Satan. I'm going to keep exposing this music industry. We're going to get into this. I just wanted to show y'all that so y'all can know what we're going to be getting into on having a new show, Dad. Maybe you might want to tap in on Wednesdays. We having exposing the demon time music industry. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
And this Wednesday we're gonna be discussing the Eagles song Hotel California.
Yeah. That's okay. cut too.
Yeah. So you know, you can tap in with that if you want to, though. You know what I'm talking about. But we definitely gonna be getting into it.
Another synagogue of the devil.
Say what now?
I said that's another synagogue of the devil.
What, the music industry?
Hotel California. The Eagles song. That's a deep song right there, man.
We
spiritual roots, man.
Yeah.
Talking about those spiritual roots.
You said what now?
I said the Hotel California.
Right.
That song that the Eagles made.
Right.
Yeah, that was back in my day.
Yeah, we're gonna be dissecting that one.
You see what kind of group that it is, though? Just
yeah.
a rock.
Yeah, we're gonna be dissecting that on Wednesday, man, on exposing the demon time music industry. You hear me?
Okay.
We going in. Yeah.
All right, that's gonna be some good food.
Yeah, that's gonna be some real dope food right there. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't even talking about no here when I'm talking about nothing like that. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I just want hold on. I'm about to play this back one time because y'all gotta. This boy Kirk Franklin said, I can't believe. I mean, I can, but he said that was. He said it.
Kirk Franklin.
Look at the look on his face. He meant what he said, man. He wrote that. Listen to what he say.
Like Big and J and Nas, the great escape of both. The lion and the lamb will bow down to the goat. The lion.
How disrespectful is that, Pops?
That is.
And this is what's this stuff right here, Pops. I'm like, this stuff be getting me upset. You hear me? And I'll be having to check myself because I'll be getting really upset. This is very disrespectful, man. You hear me? What is that he got on his shirt? What is that on his shirt? Is that a goat on his shirt?
I can't see, son. So it might be.
Yeah, I think that's a goat on Kirk Franklin's shirt. Yes. That is the image of a goat on his shirt, if I'm not mistaken.
That's sad.
It's very disrespectful. You feel me? Let me tell y'all something, man, about all y'all talking about something. We the GOAT. I'm the GOAT and goated, and y'all saying food and goat and all that goated, all that. Right? And this goes into what I'll be telling y'all, the fallacy of Pan-Africanism. Right? Pan is a demon goat god from Greek mythology. You hear me?
Right.
You hear what I'm saying? So when you think about Pan-Africanism, African, Africanist, Africanus is the name of a certain bloodline in the Roman legionnaire war system structure, right? It was a title, honorary title, giving to Roman generals. Scipius Africanus, after he defeated Hannibal. He named Africa after his title, Africanus. The original name of Africa was Alkebulan. Right? So when y'all talk about the GOAT, right? Pan-Africanism is demon time. It's a demon time paradigm. So think about Umar Johnson when he talk about Pan-Africanism. Odu Ifa, the 16 levels of possession of the human spirit, body, mind, and soul. It's all demon time, man.
Right.
I'll be sitting up here trying to tell y'all this stuff, man. You know, Most High for the awareness wouldn't reveal things like this to me, man. You hear me? This is another topic for another day, you know what I'm saying, my personal experience, though. But, you know, I've had certain experiences in my life. I'm not afraid to talk about or ashamed to talk about it. You hear me? And one thing I'm going to tell y'all is it was just crazy that my dad brought this up earlier, because when you hear the voice, and this is why I say, make sure the thoughts that you are thinking are your thoughts. Can you differentiate the difference between the two? Do you know when you're thinking original thoughts? Like my pop said, you know when the Most High is talking to you. Let me just put it out there for y'all, because this is how you're going to know. And this is the difference between the voice of skull technology, because it is a copy. It's a manufacturer. It's not. It's the inversion, right? So if you hear voices in your head telling you to do anything that could possibly like harm somebody or yourself, that's not G-O-D in all caps talking to you. I guarantee you, God would never compel you to hurt someone or yourself, right?
Right.
I know this to be true, right? I am that I am. I'm gonna just say that. How about that? Now, my dad said earlier that you know when the Most High, G-O-D in all caps, are talking to you. Let me ask y'all this. Have y'all had this experience before? Have you ever been home? Anywhere you at, right? It may possibly be. And this normally happens at home from my experience, Dad, and talking to other people who have had this experience as well, right? This normally happens when you're at home, right? You ever been in a house and you just doing something, you hear someone call your name, you hear your name being called. Walk with me now, man. Pops, I know you know what I'm talking about. You hear your name being called, and not only do you hear your name being called, but you hear it in such a clarity as if you hear it above anything else, even your own thoughts.
Right.
The best way I could describe it is a thought form being made manifest in your mind through audio input, right? You hear your name being called,
right,
in a very soothing yet commanding voice. Do you understand what I'm saying, Pops, man? Am I describing it kind of good for our limited human language of English? Right? And you know when you hear this voice calling your name, see, because if you never heard it before, it'll bug you out because through the desensitization and the programming in this reality, right? The world, which is the fallen state of the earth, we have become accustomed and trained with the frequency of this reality to where we hear the voice and it trips us out. But, you know when you hear your name being called like this, you know it's something different about it. And you may find yourself like mom, baby, who your wife, your husband, girl, whatever the situation may be. Did you call my name? Nah, I ain't call your name, man. You hear me? Right? So you go back to doing whatever you're doing in the house, iron and sleep, whatever it is you're doing, right? You hear it again. Your name clearly above everything, as if it's being is above everything you could possibly hear. Not so much as it's blurring it out, but it's just distinct over every other sound. You know what I'm talking about, Pops?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And you tripping like, man, I know I hear somebody calling my name. Man, Pops, Dad, man, Mom, sis, whoever. You calling me? Nah, man, you come up here one more time, man. You hear me? I ain't called you, man. You hear me?
Yeah.
Right?
You right, son.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, man? Have you had this experience? That's the voice of the actual true God right there. See, the voice of God, the technology that can hack into your brain, right? It'll tell you go do some silly stuff like go kill people.
Right.
It'll tell you go do some crazy stuff like go sexually violate this person or this woman or this girl. It'll tell you to do what Jeffrey Dahmer was doing. See, that's how you know the difference. Right? Talk to him, Pops. I just have to share that with y'all, man.
You just saying all that. I'm getting ready to give you biblical scriptures on what you just said is so true.
Talk to him. Which one is it?
Two experiences. It's in Samuel, the book of Samuel. Okay? And Elijah.
What chapter?
Prophet Elijah, he was a little boy. And this is when God was calling Elijah.
What chapter, Pops?
This prophet. Okay?
Samuel what? Ain't it 1st and 2nd Samuel?
I'm just remembering from memory this particular thing what you was talking about as far as the voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you some insight. You can probably look it up, but I don't know particular what part of the book.
All right, that's cool.
Samuel.
All right, that's cool. We ain't going to get to it. Go ahead, Pop. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Samuel is training Elijah, right, to be a prophet because he knew that God had his hand on Elijah's life.
Right.
So Elijah is laying in his bed, in his room. Samuel is in his room. So Elijah hears the voice of God calling him. This is scripture. This just giving you confirmation on what you just got through talking about.
Right.
And when Elijah heard the voice, he didn't know it was the voice of God at first. He thought it was Samuel calling him. He gets up and he goes into the room where Samuel at, and he asks him, "Did you call me?" Samuel said, "No, I didn't call you." So Elijah go back into his room. It happens again. God calls Elijah. Call him by name.
Elijah.
He got up again. Went back in the room where Samuel was. Started with Samuel calling him again. Samuel said, "No, son, I didn't call you." So Elijah's thinking, "Well, something going on. I know I'm hearing somebody calling me." So he goes back and this happened 3 times. The last time Samuel perceived that it was God that was calling Elijah. So when Elijah came back the 3rd time to ask him, was that him calling him, Samuel just said that if you hear that voice again, just say, "Here am I, Lord." Here am I, Lord.
Not Lord who I am.
Right. So when he went back the 3rd time, and when he heard the voice of God calling him again, then he did what Samuel told him to do. Say, "Here am I, Lord." And that's what Elijah said. And then him and God began to start talking. Then he heard the voice of God. Now, I had an experience like that when I first got saved. I was on my knees in my room in the dark praying, and I heard the voice of God. I got up, cut on my light, and I'm wondering, who is this? I did that twice. The 3rd time when I went to do it, the Holy Ghost spoke to me in my spirit and said, "See, my people know my voice. My children know my voice. You will get to know my voice. That is me that is calling your name." And it was in such a way, I can't even describe how it sounds.
Right.
It was like no other voice I've ever heard. But I knew it was God.
When I had my experience, probably the best way I could describe it was the voice of a woman. It was a female's voice. That's how it was. It was a female's voice.
Okay.
Very powerful, very soothing, like I said, but yet
right,
commanding at the same time. No nonsense, no playing no games. And in the manner in which we were speaking made everything as if it was a joke. When in reference to this reality anyway.
Right. Now getting back to Kirk Franklin, as far as that goat that he had on his t-shirt, that's why I said, like you were saying, that the devil always got to emulate whatever the God do. Because back in the biblical days, see, that's what the children of Israel did with live animals. See, they were using them for sin sacrifices. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was offerings. It was for sin offerings, you know. Pigeons. It wasn't no goats. It was lambs, it was sheep, and it was pigeons that they used. And they weren't sacrifices, but they were offerings to cover their sin, because something had to be shed. Something had to die in order for them to have their sin forgiven. That's deep. That's another subject, another time. But yeah, that's deep. But anyway, that's why that Satan has his people, when they do their little rituals, that's why they use animals for sacrifices.
Not offerings.
Not offerings. That's right, son. Not offerings. Not offerings. There's a difference. But that's where Satan get it from, okay? That's why he has his children do what they do. That's why they sacrifice children, animals, goats. But getting back to Sodom and Gomorrah now, so the angel is getting Lot and his wife and his 2 daughters out, telling them they got to get outside the city. They had to force them out. And as soon as they brought them to the outskirts, he said, "Escape for your life. Do not look." This is the 19th chapter of Genesis at the 17th verse.
Oh, let me get it real quick, Pops. You said the 19th verse?
The 17th verse.
17th verse? Okay, we're right here.
Chapter.
19 chapter, 17 verse.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
As soon as they had brought them to the outskirts, he said, escape for your life. Do not look behind you. Don't that sound familiar? Same thing. And do not stand still in any part of the
this
distance.
is for somebody else. Hold on. Here.
So that you may not be swept away. This is how powerful this was going to be when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So it must have been a big, huge location of land. For him to tell him to get that far away from Solomon. Told him to escape to the mountains, that you might not be swept away. Then Lot said to them, no, not there, please. Jehovah, please, now your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you are showing great kindness to me by preserving me alive. But I am not able to flee to the mountains regions because I am afraid that disaster may overtake me and I will die. Please, now this town is nearby and I can flee there. He's still trying to be in location and real close locality to the place. He said, may I please escape there? It is only a small place and I will survive. So he said to him, very well, I will also show you consideration by not overthrowing the town you speak of, because it was going to wipe out everything in that area.
Right.
And where Lot said he couldn't make it to the mountain, so then he talking about really getting a distance from Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
And Lot said, I can't go that far that quick, but there's a little town somewhere nearby that I can go, would that be all right, that I can be safe there? And then what the angel tell him, yeah, okay, you go there. We won't even mess with that place then. Because that's where you'll be at. So you'll be safe there.
Right.
Man, tell me God ain't good. He said, I will show you consideration by not overthrowing the town that you speak of. He said, but hurry and escape there, because he said, I cannot do anything until you arrive there. Ain't that something? God was not going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah until Lot and his wife and his two daughters got to safety. God waiting on him. Man, that shakes me up, man. That blows me away. I don't know about y'all out there, you too, man. That's a fit way. Show you what God won't do for you. No matter what situation you in, God will wait on you and give you time to get yourself together and do what you need to do before he intervenes and steps in.
That's powerful.
And he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like I said, with fire and brimstone. That's what became of Sodom and Gomorrah because of the wickedness. Now, I covered that. Now we're going to jump to Romans. Chapter 1, verse 25. This is the final cap that I'm putting on our message tonight about the spiritual wickedness of homosexuality.
From Romans what now, huh?
It done came from the Old Testament.
Romans what?
The Old Testament to right now where we at in Romans. This is after Christ was crucified and left the earth.
Romans what, Pops?
Romans the first chapter of Romans, verse 25.
I want to go to it right now. Said verse 25.
Yep.
All right.
We can start at let's start at verse 18.
Verse 18. Let's go.
Yeah, the first chapter.
Yeah, the wrath against God, God's wrath against sinful humanity.
Right. Okay. For God's wrath is being revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who are suppressing the truth. See? Suppressing the truth.
So let's stop right there real quick, Pops.
Okay.
So when you know the truth, it becomes your duty. I always say this too. When you know the truth, it becomes your duty to share it, to speak it, not to make somebody believe it, not to impose it on somebody, not to force somebody to believe it and accept it, but merely to share it, make it known, make them aware of it, bring it to their awareness. That's it. You ain't supposed to be out here trying to save nobody.
Right.
Talk to him, Paul.
Now it says here suppressing the truth, but in our language, it's really rejecting it and not accepting it. That's what we do today. We hear the truth, but we don't accept it, and we reject it. Back in that time when God was speaking right here, it said they suppressed it. It ain't that they didn't know it. They just didn't want to receive it and accept it.
Right.
But it says here, I am ashamed of the news. Okay, for God's wrath is being revealed from heaven against all ungodliness. See, it says God's wrath is being revealed. In other words, God is showing man, letting him see from heaven, from up there where he had in the spirit realm, he is letting man know right down here that he's showing them their ungodliness and their unrighteousness of men who are suppressing the truth in an unrighteous way. Because what may be known about God is clearly evident among them. So see, they know of God. God, you think God gonna create you and you not know about him? And you not know he created you? Don't work that way. Being known about God is clearly evident among them, for God made it clear to them. Come on, people.
Talk to him.
God made them see who he was, and that he was talking to them about them and what they were doing and the state that they were in. For his invisible qualities are clearly seen from the world's creation onward, because they are perceived by the things made, even his eternal power and Godship, so that they are unexcusable or inexcusable. They are without excuse. There's no reason and no excuse a man can give not knowing about God. That's bull. This junk atheist don't believe in God, that's crap. And they say they don't believe it's a God. God just told them, he made them know that who he was. And it's without excuse for them saying that they don't know him, because he made it known by the invisible things that we don't see, by the things that came out of that realm into the realm by the things that we can see, what's made by him. Yeah. Come on. Even his eternal power and Godship, that means even knowing who he is as being God, his power that he has, omnipotent, omnipresent, powerful, authoritative.
Omniscient too.
Omnipotent,
omniscient, and omnipresent.
And God saying himself, so that because of all that, he said they are without excuse. So in other words, there's nothing that they can tell him when they stand before him judgment day, and that's all of us. And nothing we can be able to say him that we didn't know nothing about anything that had to do with him. Might not be able to understand everything and what's going on in the earth with men among men, but we can't use that excuse about not knowing about him when we get there and stand before him come judgment day. We can't give him no excuses about him. So you can't blame nobody else about not knowing about him. That's deep. For although they knew God, see, so they did know him. It says they did not glorify him as God, nor did they thank him, but they became empty-headed in their reasoning, and their senseless hearts became darkened.
Hold on, stop right there, Paul. Stop right there. I'm gonna stop you right there.
I knew I had to, son.
Let me stop you right there. Now, remember what I said earlier, right? That they were so consumed with the spirit of homosexuality,
right?
They lost sense of who they were.
Right.
So much so that they didn't even realize that these two guys were holy angels from up top sent to utterly destroy everything they got going on in here if they couldn't even find 10 righteous people. This is what Romans, and this is the New Testament, is talking about, right? The New Testament is the Old Testament revealed, and the Old Testament is the New Testament unrevealed. Did you hear what I just said, Pops, man? I said the Old Testament is the New Testament unrevealed, and the New Testament is the Old Testament revealed. Let's go, Pops. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Pops? I don't know what's going on with his phone, man. He must have put his phone down real quick.
Yeah, I hear you, sir. I had to step out real quick.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's what it was. But yeah, though, man. Go ahead and finish reading. We got verse 22.
All right, here I go. Although claiming they were wise, they became foolish and turned the glory of the incorruptible God to something like the image of corruptible man.
And birds.
And four-footed creatures and reptiles.
Oh, stop right there.
I knew I had to.
Stop right there. When I read that passage, I said, wow, man, listen.
Okay.
Reptiles.
Right.
Shout out to Nas. It was written, man. You hear me? And this ain't me talking, man. This ain't my pops talking. This is God's words, man. You hear me? Reptiles. We all have a what? A R complex.
Yep.
Hear me? And how do we have an R complex? From Eve's contact with the serpent in the garden. Spiritual Root Sunday, y'all, man. High level, next level teaching, man, with me and my pops, man, Virgil Berry Sr. I'm Virgil Berry, a.k.a. Stats with the Facts, man. This is A Talk Podcast, man. You're talking about, hit that like button, man. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page. My man, Chaos Ray, man, what's good, man? You hear me? I'm gonna tap in when we get done. We about to wrap it up here in a second, man. You feel me?
And we wrapping it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. Go ahead, Pops.
That's where we get today, where you see all these different images of everything what I just read here right now. Man got that today. Go all over. You go anywhere in this country, anywhere on this earth, and that's all you see.
Right.
Where they took the incorruptible God and made it corruptible, and start worshiping the creation more than they did the Creator. And he named in which way that they do all these things. Birds and four-footed creatures and reptiles.
Right.
Therefore, God, in keeping with the desires of their hearts, gave them up to uncleanness. In the New Testament, or rather in the Old Testament, or the King James Version, it doesn't say that like that. It says he gave them up to a reprobated mind. That's what I like about the King James Version, because it gives the Hebrew and the Arabic language of what it really is saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. It don't change it to where man can understand it more. Right. But in the King James Version, that's what it says, that because of that, he gave them over to a reprobated mind. That means that
cut off from the source.
Like I'm a chef, right? And I used to cook hamburgers and steaks and stuff on a grill.
Right.
Called a griddle. Now, the culinary terminology for that is called shear.
Right.
Okay? When you shear meat, that means when you put meat on a hot grill, all the juices and everything, when it hits the heat from that grill, the bottom of it, it locks it in. That means don't no juices or nothing come out. Okay? It just seals in everything that is what is in that meat. It seals it in. That's what reprobate means. That's what God was talking about here. He gave them over to a reprobated mind. So that means that all the things that was containing in their minds and the way they was thinking and how they was thinking, and because of that, it was against God and everything, God said, okay, I'm going to lock that in y'all head. Since y'all don't want to remember me, y'all ain't got to worry about remembering me.
Right.
God won't be able to remember me.
Like I said, Pops, cut a complete separation and disconnection from the source.
Exactly.
Now, let me stop you right here again, Pops, man. Right? Human brain computer interfacing, the smart grid, the metaverse. Listen here, y'all, man. I'll be telling y'all about this stuff, man. You hear me? And these things have been revealed to me, man. You hear me? And this is why me and my pops doing what we're doing, so we can connect and correlate the two, right? Human brain computer interfacing, right? The smart grid and the metaverse. Everything y'all be hearing me talking about. Augmented virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, right? Once we get connected to the metaverse, that is connecting, syncing and linking your brain, your mind, through the conduit that is genetically engineered to us, into us, the R complex, which will forever lock you. Searing is locking in the juices, the flavors, lock you in to the hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, which is manifesting in our reality as and through the unintelligent, artificial intelligence, smart grid, metaverse, Baphomet agenda, LGBTQ, LMNOP barbecue committee agenda. Right?
Right.
So you gotta have an open mind to be able to put this together. You hear me? And this is why I tell y'all come tap in with us on Sundays, man. We're doing next level teachings over here, man. Y'all not getting this anywhere else. Ain't no churches, most of them the synagogues of Satan. They ain't telling y'all this. Right? They ain't breaking it down and putting it together for y'all like this. So when we think about the reprobate mind, the metaverse is the digital, holographical, electronic slave, right? Connectivity construct locking you in through human brain computer interfacing, digital DNA downloading storage, conscience transferring, through microchips and put into the body, the singularity. Ray Kurzweil over there at Google talks about this, the singularity. This is connecting human consciousness, cutting it off from the source and connecting it to the hive mind of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, reprobate mind, locked in literally forever. That's why they only need 500 million humans in this reality to operate within this reality. Next level teaching over here, y'all. Don't ever get it twisted, man. Right? And this is the reason why me and my pops have come together for such a time as this. You hear me? Because this is another level of stuff going on out here, y'all. Right? And if you don't know, you ain't gonna go. You did. Talk to him, Pops.
I hear you, sir. And another way to look at it, I'm going to put this to you in another way, too, where you can understand it a little bit more clearly about what I just read.
Right.
What God is saying is that, therefore, God, in keeping with the desires of their hearts, He gave them up to uncleanness. So that means with a reprobated mind, He said, because y'all refuse to accept and see what I'm saying, and what y'all is doing, y'all think it's all right, then y'all I'm gonna let y'all keep thinking that that's all right with y'all. That's the way y'all think. That's the way y'all want to think. That's the way you're gonna think. Okay. You're not going to even be able to know the truth no more because you don't want to know the truth. So therefore, I'm going to block the truth out from you.
Right.
and let you continue, that their bodies might be dishonored among them. They exchanged the truth of God for the lie and venerated and rendered sacred services to the creation rather than the creator. That's heavy.
Super
You'll
heavy,
get
man.
to a point with God to where that if he cannot get through to you and you don't want to accept him, acknowledge him, and receive him and know that he is who he is, then he'll put your mind in a state of where that you won't even know that there even is a God. You won't even know right no more. Know what is good anymore. Everything, whatever that is in your heart that you think what it is and is being evil and unclean, that's where you're going to stay until you meet him judgment day. That's what he's saying right here.
And the metaverse is a tool that is being used to exacerbate, amplify this connection to the reprobate mind, which is the hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, and his threefold psychotic, dissociative identity disorder, multiple personal disorder. Do y'all understand what I'm saying when I say what I just said, man? Right? This is powerful, man. This is powerful information. This is powerful knowledge. This is next level stuff, man. Right? When I was listening, Pops, I was in the joint, right? And I told you, and I always bring this up because this is what the God put into my mind when I was in prison, Pops, man, to pursue this and put me up on game to be able to make this correlation connection, which is, like I said, why we are here for a time such as this, me and you. Listen, I had subscriptions to Popular Mechanics, Popular Science, National Geographic, Wired Magazine. And I had access to information that was just putting me up on everything that I was coming across, was putting me up on game and giving me information that was connected to how technology was changing. And at the same time, I had the voice of God speaking to me and revealing me, Pops, the nature of reality.
Right.
You hear me?
Right.
Which is why I can speak on it the way I do, y'all, because this is not me. You hear me? I want to let y'all know I'm a very intelligent guy. I have been since I was a child. I see why now, but it ain't me. I'm never that arrogant, contrary to popular opinion.
Right.
You hear me? Understand what I'm saying, man. This metaverse is what's going to connect us permanently to the hive mind collective of what has the I'm gonna call the reprobate mind, or what is known as the reprobate mind, or which is we can call the hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Right. The reprobate mind is literally the digital, holographic, electronic expression of the paradigm threefold of Lucifer, Satan, the devil.
That's right. That's right.
You hear me? So when we talk about getting hooked to the metaverse through human brain computer interfacing, you are talking about forever connecting yourself to the hive mind collective of the reprobate mind, which is Lucifer, Satan, the devil, and forever disconnecting yourself. You hear me? God damn, you hear me? From the source.
Right.
Right? And what did this is powerful. This is why this movie is so dope. And what did the architect tell Neo? In order to balance the equation, right, you have to return to the source. You can't stay in the matrix. You can't stay in the world, because then you'll be forever synced and linked to the hive mind collective, right? You have to return to the source. So once your ability to return to the source has been cut off, right?
That's right.
You did. Hit that like button, y'all, man. Smash that like button, man. Go ahead and talk to him, Pops, man.
Now we coming on verse 26, and verse 26 is get ready to just confirm and give confirmation that everything what we just got through talking about, son.
Right.
verse 26, putting the icing on the cake on what you just said.
Let's go.
What you was revealed.
Let's go.
That is why God gave them over to uncontrolled sexual passions, for their females changed the natural use of themselves into one contrary to nature. Likewise, also the males left the natural use of the female and became violently inflamed in their lust toward one another, males with males.
Notice it didn't say men with men.
Working what is obscene and receiving in themselves the full penalty which was due for their error. Now, remember earlier that I was speaking about that's what I believe is what it was when HIV and AIDS came on the scene?
Right.
That's what that is referring to.
Right.
That's the penalty. That's what brings forth that, because of the deadness of that sin, and the wickedness of it, that you can't do that and get away with it and think you cannot reap it. And that's what that did. That's why you have AIDS and HIV in the world today. And like me and my son say, we don't bash anybody because it's right here in the word, but the only way that a woman would get HIV or AIDS is because it's from where they done been with a man. Women can't get it from women. Come on, people. I'm not trying to give you a lecture on biology, but come on. Men with men. That is the reward that they get. Same way that when Cain, remember when Cain was marked? When he thought that he wouldn't be able to live in the earth because when men find out what became of what he had did, somehow that they will seek out to kill him.
Right.
And God said he would put a mark on his head, that anybody that saw him and saw that mark, that they wouldn't mess with him and wouldn't take his life.
Right.
That applies to the same thing here about homosexuality.
Right.
Men do that which what they do. Even the women.
Right.
It said women, they left their natural state of what they're supposed to be for with men. And turn towards each other. Where we get lesbians at? And transvisual and all that. See, all this is in the same circle. It says, but for the nature, it says that the use of the female became violently inflamed in their own lust. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, the pride of life. Toward one another, males with males, working what is obscured and receiving in themselves. See, receiving in themselves the full penalty. That's what the penalty is of being like that, is AIDS and HIV. That's their penalty.
Right.
Just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God, God gave them over to a reprobated, what we said before, but disapproved mental state to do the things not fitting. And they were filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, and badness, being full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice, being whisperers, backbiters, haters of God. They hate God. You can't talk to nobody like that about God. They don't want to hear it. Insolent, haughty, boastful, schemers of what is harmful, disobedient to parents, without understanding, false to agreements, having no natural affections, and mercifulness. Although these know full well the righteous deceit or decree of God, that those practicing such things are deserving of death. They not only keep on doing them, but also approve of those practicing them. Therefore, you are inexcusable, O man, whoever you are. If you judge, or when you judge another, you condemn yourself, because you who judges practices the same things. Now we know that God's judgment is in harmony with truth against those who practice such things. And I'm going to stop there. Is why the world is the way it is now. That's why God changes not. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And what he detested and what he disapproved of back then, you think how much more now he's not, and he's against that. And look how far man done came. Look how that homosexuality spirit done grew by leaps and bounds to where that it affected the majority of mankind, that who will allow for it to affect them. They know in their own minds and in their own hearts what they're doing is right in their eyes, but in their hearts they know that is wrong. They know God would not be a just God, but to let you continue to go on doing something wrong and not let you know that is wrong. So when he brought it to their attention that it is wrong because of they were of their hearts, that he said, okay, I'm not going to try to show them that anymore. They want to be like that, let them stay like that.
Right.
So that's why me and my son chose to carry on this topic from what he picked up on last week. We just carried it over to this week.
Right.
To give you a more insight and a more understanding. Like you said, we're not bashing anybody. We're not judging anybody. This is from the Word of God. And we need to wake up because our young people are being caught up and swallowed up into this stuff. And it's time for us to stand tall. It's time for us to start taking a stand and fighting against all this evilness and wickedness and corruption and sin and immorality in the earth today among men. You know, it's our responsibility to our children. No, you can't make them do anything. But like I said, if you raise a child up in the right way that he should be, that even though as he get older, he will not depart from the things that are taught to him when he is young. You can't teach a child how to do something when he's 15, 16, 17 years old. When he has his own mind and his own thoughts. You have to put that in them when they're young. And even though they do go astray, they'll come back to themselves eventually one day. But if you never put it in them, then they have nothing to come back to. And that's why they become lost. And that's how we lose our young people. So I just want to say that if you have children, you are their greatest hope other than God himself. To guide them, to raise them, to put the proper moral values in them. Okay? Listen to your children when they tell you about different things, what goes on with them in their life. When they're in school, when they're out playing with their friends, and they try to come to you and tell you different things. A lot of times parents don't have the patience to listen to their children. They're so busy caught up into their own world and doing their own thing. And the only time that they'll come through the part where they want to correct their children is when their children do something that piss them off. Then they want to check them. Then they want to whoop them. Then they want to do whatever that they think is right for to do to the child. That's only when that they get hit something that they don't like about it. But you got to understand that we're responsible for our children. And we have to be accountable for them. You're going to stand before God and you're going to give an account. For everybody that ever comes into your life, you have a very profound effect on everybody that comes into your life. Okay? Now, everybody that you go into their life, now whatever effect they have on you, that's on you. But when everybody come around you, you have an effect on everybody in your life. And the kind of effect you have on them is on how you are and who you are and what you are about. If you're about the wrong thing, then that's what you're going to share and you're going to spread to everybody else. That's why every man has to give account for everything that he do. All the works that you do in the earth, you will be accountable for. And your works will be tried by fire. Eternal fire. Not the kind of fire we start down here on the earth, but by God's fire. Wood, hay, and stubble. That's what he meant by that when he said that every man's work shall be tried. And not only that, but every idle word that comes out of your mouth, you have to be accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand that. Everything that you ever say in words is recorded in the spirit realm. That's why we have to watch what we say and how we say it and who we say it to. Because words are powerful and words are authoritative.
I be telling them we gotta box clever. I be saying all the time, Pop, we gotta box cleverly with our language, man. You hear me, Pops?
Be slow to speak and quick to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's scripture. The tongue is the only member of the body that is not being in control of itself. It's the only one that can set course of anything to happen the way that it happens. He did that illustration about just like a little hem on the ship, how that little hem can turn a big old ship to go left or to go right.
Right.
That's how powerful the tongue is. That's the only member of the body that what can set things in motion. Certain parts of your body has a lot to do with how you live your life. God speaks about that, about your feet.
Right.
Where your feet take you, to and from, to and fro. Your hands, what your hands do. People, this is deep. We did a thing about the biology of the human anatomy and the body, and I got into all that, you know, because they all make sense. And when you look at it in that light, it'll open your eyes up. It'll make you be more cautious and more aware of what you say and what you see and where you go and what you do.
Yes, sir.
Especially when you have an influence over others.
Yeah.
That's a double price you got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for what you do to yourself and what you do of yourself, but also what you do that it affects others. You're accountable for it. I hope everyone got something out of the podcast tonight.
Right.
I know I did.
Yeah, I know I did too. For sure. That's why
I hope that this done somebody some good and opened up someone's eyes spiritually and their ears spiritually, and gave them a whole new outlook of thinking about different things now, and it'll help better yourself and help you better other people.
Right.
I'm glad to be able to always come forth with this because it does me good too. It ain't just for you, it's for me too.
Right.
So it's like Les Brown used to say, he's an old DJ back in the day when I was coming up. He said, you can't put perfume and sprinkle perfume on yourself, on others, without not getting it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say that whenever I say what I share with you guys, it also applies to me as well.
You hear me?
So I hope everyone got something out of this tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing my YouTube family again next week.
Yes,
like
sir.
I said, anything particular topic or subject that you want to discuss or want to know about, get with my son, he'll get with me, and we'll make it happen.
Right. Make sure y'all hit the email up. I'm about to put the email right here. It's in the description for the show too, but I'm gonna put it right here as well. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can send me an email right here. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm going to leave you all with that tonight. I'll say that God bless you all. Have a blessed spiritual week coming ahead.
Yeah.
Make the blessings of God just shower out on you. All them things that be not as though they already are for you in your life. Make it happen. Make it good. And make it right. And I'll see you all next week, and you have the best day.
You already know, Pops, man. I love you, man. I'll talk to you later.
Too. Love you too, dude. YouTube people.
All right, Pops.
Bye.
Yeah, man. You already know how we do it over here. That's a fact, Cupcake. Absolutely. Have to be careful when speaking and most importantly, bringing forth the words of the mother. I'm telling you, man, you don't want to be adding stuff in there and taking stuff away. But see, in order to interpret it and break it down, you have to have been given the gift of the sight. All right? Many you called, only you choose. Many you called, only a few get chosen, though. The smart grid is now here, but it ain't over, though. You hear me? I think I'm going to leave y'all with that song tonight, too, man. That's exactly what song I'm going to leave y'all with tonight, too. Man, I love everybody who tap in with us on Spiritual Roots Sunday, man. This is something that me and my pops was talking about for a minute now. And then, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, we came together for a time such as You did. And it's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. All right? So how did y'all like tonight's show, man? Did you learn something new? Did you learn something new? You hear something you never heard before? Right? You hear something you ain't never heard before? Listen, man, this ain't like I say, man. Me and my dad, we is damn fools. You hear me? So don't ever think it's about and then you're in blah, 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 blah. Because like I said, if it was the all in right now, majority of us will be going to the same place. By different routes, of course. Same destination nonetheless. You hear me? So this ain't about that. This is about saying what it is. And if you want to be connected to the reprobate mind forever. I'm telling y'all about this metaverse smart grid stuff, man. I've been sitting up here putting this stuff together for like the past 10 years. Literally. Right? And when this all came together for me, like I said, when it was real to me, like, and I can't, the best way I could describe it is like in the Matrix when they get the downloads, man. You hear me? That's the best way I can describe it. You hear me? And, you know, I just was sitting here putting all this stuff together, reading the popular mechanics and popular science and reading all this stuff. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, and now here we are with the smart grid and the metaverse. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is how they're going to do it. Through the smart grid, through the metaverse. This is how they're going to forever connect us to the hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, and the devil through the metaverse. Because once locked in, seared, like how my pops described, my pops is definitely a chef too, though. That's when we used to live in Atlanta back in the day. He was a chef. I can't remember the name of the hotel, man. It was one of them nice hotels downtown Atlanta. He was like executive chef on the executive chef board down there. You hear me? I remember we used to live down there and it was popping. You hear me? So that's a fact. But the metaverse is the holographic, electronic, digital expression of the hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. And once connected to it, the reprobate mind, you won't be able to be disconnected from it. And you'll be locked in through the conduit of the reptilian complex or the R complex. Y'all understand what I'm saying to y'all? You understand? It's just so diabolical. It's so Saturn, like I said, it's so serpentine in its nature and its structure and the way it's being implemented. Invasive, very invasive. You hear me? But at the same time, illusory. Did you catch that last part I just said? Did you catch the last part of what I just said? I said, but illusory though. Right? I'm having illusions messing me up in my mind. Y'all heard that song by Cypress Hill? I'm having illusions messing me up in my mind. Y'all remember the movie Instinct with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Anthony Hopkins? Y'all remember that movie? And Anthony Hopkins jumped on Cuba Gooding Jr. on the bleachers and put the pencil to him, right? Because he was drawing with him. And he asked Cuba Gooding Jr., what did I take away from you? He said, my security, my safety, man. He said, no, I took your illusions away from you. Y'all remember that part in the movie? The world is the fallen state of the earth, which means it is illusory in its nature. It is a copy, a reflection, right? Manipulation, inversion, right? So in that sense, it's not real. Think about that, man, right? What is real? How do we define real? In this reality, what we can see, touch, taste, touch, hear, smell, right? Which, when we think about this reality, is all interpreted and determined by electrical impulses being interpreted, decoded by our brains, minds. And once our brains, minds get connected to the metaverse, hive mind collective of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, reprobate mind, that is complete searing, locking in to it, and complete separation and disconnection from the source, the Most High, capital G, capital O, capital D. I think I'm gonna write a dissertation on that, man. You hear me? Or write a book about it. You hear me? Do y'all understand the type of teaching that y'all getting when y'all tap in with me and my pops on Sunday? And that's a question. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all over, inner, outer, extra stand the level of teaching me and my pops is giving y'all on a Sunday evening. All right. Going on 3.5 hours. I'm about to shut him down. But when, like I say, when we go over the time, hey, this is another situation on Sunday nights, man. You hear me? All right. So thank y'all for coming out, man. You hear me? I appreciate it. Y'all tapping in on Sunday. This is what we do every single Sunday. You know what I'm talking about? On A Real Talk Podcast, Spiritual Roots. We're going to be breaking down the spiritual roots. Well, like I said, y'all can always hit the email up. You hear me? Hit me up on the email for any things y'all want me and my pops to break down for y'all and break down a little more in depth. You know what I'm saying? All y'all got to do is hit that email right there up. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'll definitely get in contact with my pops. And if it's something, you know what I'm saying? You know, not saying that it wouldn't be nothing that's worth you talking to, but, you know, depending on what it is, and, you know, when we get it, we discuss it, we definitely add it to the show. And not only that, but if you send in an idea and we actually go in on it, it's more than only more than right that you come up on the panel and discuss it with us so we can break it down to you. And this is what we're going to be doing over here on Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Real Talk Podcast, Spiritual Roots Sundays, man. thank y'all for tapping in, man. I appreciate it. I know my pops does too. You know what I'm saying? We definitely do. Don't ever get it mistaken or twisted, man. Like I said, my pops just said, this stuff is good for us too. This helps us too. Very cathartic. You hear me? For both of us. Y'all don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know. You know what I mean? So that's why we always say, man, we remain humble and don't ever think it's like we think we better or none of that type crazy stuff that anybody could possibly potentially be thinking. Not saying that y'all are. We just got to deal with the facts. You know what I'm saying? You know, we just trying to do our fair share while, you know what I'm saying, trying to, you know what I mean, working on, you know what I'm saying, ourselves at the same time. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all to ever get the ideal or the thought process that you got to be all holy and sanctified, you know what I'm saying, in order to speak on something and you don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now that you don't, because like I said, me and my dad, we fools, man. You hear me? Don't ever forget that. You feel me? Always in a constant state of flux, y'all. You hear me? Everything's always changing and growing and moving. You know what I'm saying? Specifically, hell. Right? It's growing and getting bigger. But one thing for sure, and I wish my pops would have stayed on the phone for this, two things for certain, heaven is definitely not getting bigger. So y'all keep that in mind, man. Hit that like button on y'all's way out, man. You know what I'm saying? Say your salutations to one another as y'all bang up out of the situation tonight. Tomorrow night, we going in. You hear me? Got a nice week full of shows for y'all coming up. Yiddy. And y'all know we getting straight to it all week this week. You hear me? All week this week, we getting straight to it. Content upon content upon content. You heard me? You did. Where'd it go? I'm bugging out, man. Hold on, let me just look right here. But yeah, though, we got it going on this week, though, y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming by, man. We really appreciate it. Me and my pops, we don't take nothing for granted. Tomorrow, we going in. You hear me? Tomorrow, we going in. Tomorrow, we definitely going in. Joe Biden, did Joe Biden just legalize marijuana? Y'all heard about this? Yeah, I've been reading up on this story right here, man. It's more than meets the eye to the story, but it's definitely something to have a discussion about, and the implications of it is very, very, very interesting. So tap in with us tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Sundays, we go in at 8. Monday through Saturday, we go in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tomorrow night at 9, we're going in. You know what I'm saying? Going to have a discussion about this whole situation with Joe Biden allegedly about to let like 6,500 non-violent drug offenders for marijuana out of the federal prison system, and about to legalize marijuana for all-out use, recreational, medicinal, everything, and leave it upon the states to how they're going to deal with it by cutting the government in on the profits through the taxes. Huh? Y'all better see what's going on with this, man. And we're gonna get into the piffery, the pifflages. We're gonna get into the weed with all the different strands. Ooh, I got some information on marijuana that was gonna blow y'all's minds tomorrow, man. I'm finishing up my research on this aspect of what I want to share with y'all tomorrow to see if I can get some video on this, though. You hear me? But it's gonna blow y'all mind tomorrow, man. Right? When it comes to marijuana and how marijuana got to planet Earth. Or should I say how it become to the world in this reality? Y'all ain't ready. Oh man, next level teaching, man. So we're gonna get up out of here, y'all, man. Thank everybody for coming out, man. We're gonna leave y'all with this song right here. You know what I'm saying? Everything off of my album, Stacks with the Facts, The Real Contender. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna highlight it right now for y'all and put it in the old chat for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Ride out to this song, man. Thank y'all for coming out, man. Yeah. Hit that like button on the way out. Stacks with the facts. Stacks with the facts. Shit on your social engineering. The real contender. Real contender. Tell everybody come subscribe to the page. Click on the bell. We going in tomorrow night, Joe Biden. Tuesday night, me and my brother L going in. We're going to be discussing the situation with Gunna and Young Thug, man. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. When I was sitting in prison, I had the illest visions. Waking up in cold sweats, thought I was really tripping. I'm getting letters from Adrian saying I miss you, brother. I'm getting God body books sent to me by my mother. It's funny how you don't realize till you get locked away. How many years you wasted just was in the way. Many a call, only a few get chosen though. The smart grid is now here, but it ain't over though. They gotta try to divide us and keep us separated. But if we all come together, we could never be Cajun. I'm trying to bring all us together, my sister and brethren. Ain't no difference between us, we each other's reflection. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. UN Agenda 2030 is right in our face. Coronavirus got us all with masks on our face. We get a losing the choice from public politicians. And the black bootleg, they control our position. You know they give us our leaders, tell us to follow them. They separate and divide us because it profits them. They make climate action resilient plans and weaponize weather. They playing us like a hawk, and we should all know better. GMO foods, and you know they put poison in our water. The prison system take fathers away from sons and daughters. I'm trying to clear out a path that lead us from the slaughter. I don't just do it for me, I do this shit for all us. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. Conflict creates controversy, causes confusion. I don't believe in it all because it's all illusions. No difference between us because I am you and me. Everything is us and we are everything. Everything. Stacks with the facts. E&E. 2020 takeover. The real contender. Realize that we are all one. I'm a reflection of you. You a reflection of me. We are a reflection of we.